Let's go. So, welcome everybody. Welcome. We've got some. I always say this and giggle at the same time. Mr. Hevesy, my co-host, calls you repeat offenders. Repeat offenders and making money in your sleep. That is a very good title. So let me start with this. Let me address the crypto in the room. So that is if I can get to the right screen. Let's see. Okay. This is my show notes. Here we go. So here's addressing the crypto in the room. Everybody that's had a comment about, wow, that website looks like it's from the 90s. In fact, it is from the 90s, but I'm not going to steal the thunder of the creator because it has a brand new look. Mr. Barsano, would you please comment?
Yes, I got tired of people people saying the website looks like it's from the 1980s.
Oh, now we're regressing. I thought it was from the 90s.
Yeah, 80s and 90s.
Right.
And I frankly liked the old one. It was bigger, you could see it all better. But you have to go with the times, right? You have to acquiesce, just give in, and so we updated the website this weekend.
Yep. My
Make
my
it a
my
little
view
more.
is my view is if it everybody's got every flavor and hats off to you for creating the system no matter what it looks like. It gives people the potential to automate part of their financial freedom or as much as they want. But if in fact, at first blush, people in this world of the 12 second attention span, literally it takes 3 seconds. If you don't catch people's attention in the first 3 seconds, or if they form an opinion in the first couple of seconds, then my point being is if your enhancements, beautiful, thank you. If that stops people in their tracks to be able to bless more people, to be able to put this in their hands, to make their lives and their families' lives better, that's my positive take on it. So
Amen to that.
Well, you're right.
yeah, yeah. So thank you.
Take it away. Take it away, Edward.
All right. So I'm going to share my screen again, and we're going to share some expectations if I can find that screen. All right. There you go. Whoop, there you go. Can everybody see that?
Yes.
Okay. Okay. Can everybody see that bigger? I figured out how to do that.
Yeah, that's much better. Thank you.
All right. Very good. Very good. Yeah, sometimes Zoom is a little wonky, but I figured out how to do it. So expectations for today, those of you that are repeat offenders, thank you for coming back. We hope to be able to add at least a little nugget of value every time you join us. For those newcomers, this is kind of what you can expect today, right? We say 45 minutes in an overview and presentation. We usually get that right on. But then everything that you're going to see is going to drive questions. Don't wait for your questions or don't wait to ask your questions, but please do put them as they come up through the presentation into the Q&A section. That's all okay. Chat's wide open. We've decided to, from about a month ago and going forward, we're going to keep the chat open because it creates a lot of positive feedback and banter. Those that already are part of the community can usually chime in and answer. So we appreciate these positive comments. This is a family-friendly environment, so keep it clean, keep it positive.
So swearing is allowed.
No, not go Navy. So then we'll transition to about 45 minutes to an hour. And I giggled before when I talked about the overview, is because we end up normally running long. Mr. Barsano has a weekly goal of making it a 3-hour presentation, and that's okay. Anybody that doesn't have an opportunity to stay for the whole thing, as I repeated a couple times, you'll get an email tomorrow with the complete replay, and you can mute us out, cut us out, fast forward, whatever you need to do, but you'll have it. You'll get a chance to meet the creator and the true genius, which my name's Edward Pereira. I'll attach that to the genius, but that's not who I meant. It's Mr. Barsano. But I want to introduce my co-host Attila Hevesy, and then Mr. Barsano, the brains behind automating part of your financial life. You'll have an invaluable, what I call, this is my quote, the $1 billion report, and you'll know why when we show you. And it really, really, really does live up to its name. I'll show you one of my trading accounts that will employ what you're going to see, or has employed what you're going to see in the $1 billion report. You'll get a chance to see a real live trader, Mr. Barsano's trader, that has been in action since the year that he created it, which was 4 years ago, April of 21. You'll understand exactly what making money while you sleep 24/7, 366, because it doesn't take leap year off the February 29th, it still works. Really looks like. And so we say that about making money or sleep, and people don't get it because you've been programmed, not in a nefarious way, but having spent 3 decades plus in the matrix, I know that there are things that happen that are predictable outcomes, right? And so part of that predictable outcome is your financial or lack thereof detailed financial information and education. And there is no such thing prior to this as making money in your sleep 366 that does not involve some sort of a risk. And you're going to see this platform is programmed so intelligently, it removes all of those barriers. You're going to understand why GoBabyTrade GBT is unlike anything else on the planet. It doesn't require any skills, not even a knowledge base of crypto and blockchain. As a matter of fact, you don't even have to know how to spell crypto. And it will put you in a position where you'll be able to, if you choose, take advantage of automating portion of your financial life. So I draw your attention to the red, which is always a good thing. Mr. Barsano offers marital advice. So if you have any of those questions, put them in the Q&A. But for this presentation, it's for informational and educational purposes only. Nothing that we share with you today is intended or should be considered to be financial, legal, or tax advice, nor are any guarantees of return or performance projected. So with that, thank you. Let me turn it over to my very capable friend, good friend, and co-host Attila Hevesi, and we'll get started.
Thank you, Edward.
CYRPTO.
Say
What
again.
is that?
Crypto, CYRPTO.
Like, wait a minute, that spells crypto.
Sometimes my fingers do that. No, that doesn't spell crypto. I'm sorry. Go ahead, Attila.
Yeah, thanks, Ed. Thanks, Edward. Good introduction, and you should all pat yourselves on the back for being here because it is hump day. It's 2 o'clock Eastern time. I don't know where you are in the world, but I'm sure you have choices of other things to do or other places to be at this time. And it's very smart that you're here because there's nothing like this available anywhere, really, where you could automate a portion, as Edward said, a portion of your financial life, especially within the digital money revolution, meaning DeFi, crypto, blockchain, AI, all that. The RWA, which is a real big thing now, real world assets. Eventually, please understand everything in the world, every asset will be tokenized and digitized and fractionalized, literally everything. It's happening in front of our eyes. Most people are still sleepwalking through it, but that's okay. They're starting to wake up slowly but surely. My background is financial, but my biggest problem was I totally missed the internet revolution. I was just too busy, earning a living, and I had a family. I promised myself 5 years ago, there's no way I'm going to miss this revolution because it's much bigger. It's about money. It's about the entire global financial system changing. And that hasn't happened in hundreds of years. So you cannot live not even 10 lifetimes and come across this kind of financial opportunity we have right now. And within that opportunity is an even greater opportunity to automate a portion of it. I mean, totally automate, and I'll get to that in a few minutes, but my job is to explain to you how it is that we got here, that all of you are here. So Mr. Barsano, our special guest that joins us each Wednesday, he went into the Navy after high school, and he learned how to program there. And when he got out of the Navy, a few years later, he was one of the first 350 people actually hired by Bill Gates and Microsoft. And this was in their heyday. I mean, this is when Microsoft was growing like this, just vertically. Things were bonkers. It was busier than ever. And I don't even know.
Let me say, it really took off after I got there.
Yeah.
You don't say so.
Yeah.
It's true. It is true, though, but not necessarily because of me.
Yeah. It was never the same, right? Um, but anyway, I've heard some incredible stories from Mr. Barsano on how that all went down. But he did very, very well with that company for 9 years, retired, still a young man at 39. And then he got involved in the stock market. And unfortunately, in the year 2000, he lost a large part of his wealth because there was a crash, a stock market crash. And he said, you know what? This is obviously a rigged game for the average person. What I'm going to do is I'm going to level the playing field. And that's when he developed this very first, for the average person now, for all of us, not for the institutions, not for the wealthy, but for the average common man and woman, he developed the world's first fully robotic autonomous stock market trader. So get this, after about a 60 to 90-minute download of the software, it literally turned itself on at 9:30 in the morning, just a little bit before the stock market opening, traded for you automatically all day long, taking profits, buying more where appropriate. And then at 4 p.m. when the stock market closed, it shut itself down. It did this 100% unattended, meaning you did not need to be in front of it. You did not need to interact with it. So that's pretty incredible in today's world. Imagine how incredible it was in the year 2000. So he really had a tiger by the tail. Now, I met Mr. Barsano in 2012. I was introduced to him by a bunch of guys that ended up doing some business with Ed. And we teamed up. We actually helped Ed market it. And we had a ball. I mean, we traveled the country. We broke bread. We rode on airplanes. We had some great meals, some great meetings. And the long and short of it was, partnerships are tough. And the people he teamed up with, they didn't hold up their end of the bargain. So he said, you know what, I'm going to protect my brand. He went back to being solo again in 2019, sold the entire concept out to a hedge fund that had previously purchased many, many licenses from him. Now, he was approached by several people that had bought the stock trader, one especially, who told him, Ed, and this was about 2019, 2020, early 2020. Ed, you should really do a trader for the crypto market. And Ed was thinking about it. And he finally said I think somewhere in 2020, he says, I'm going to do that, because he was watching what was going on. And he launched, and literally it was April of 2021 when he launched the robotic autonomous crypto trader with AI. And boy, I mean, it took off for him, because he realized right away that the crypto market is much more volatile than the stock market. Stock market's been around over 100 years. It's boring, you know? So anyway, at this point, the story changes a little bit, because I'll tell you, it was exactly the middle of March of 2024. I had, I was at that point 4 years full tilt into the digital money revolution, built myself a crypto portfolio, learned as much as I could, self-taught. And I'm thinking to myself, I got to just find a way to have my crypto earn more crypto on itself. I'm a cash flow guy. I love cash flow. So I was thinking, how do I do that most effectively where it's still safe? Because safety is a big thing. There's a lot of scams in this space. You got to protect your money. So it took me about a full day, but a day later it hit me right between the eyes. I thought, oh my gosh, I totally forgot about my friend Ed Barsano. I'll bet my life on the fact that somewhere in the last 3 to 5 years, Ed developed a trader for the crypto market, and I still had his phone number on my iPhone. I tracked him down. We spoke for 3 hours, and he confirmed my hunch. He said, yes, Attila, in April of 21, I launched the crypto trader. And he said, as soon as I turned that thing on, I realized this thing is light years ahead of the stock trader. And he says, Attila, here's 4 compelling reasons why. Number one, stocks trade 5 days a week, 6 hours a day. Crypto's 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. That's a big advantage. I said, I agree with that one, Ed. What's the second thing? He said, second of all, you know as well as I do, that you need a lot of volatility to be successful in any trading of any kind, whether it's stocks, precious metals, Forex, crypto. Volatility, that up and down action is the key. And he said, Attila, there's no asset class on planet Earth with more volatility than crypto. I said, right again. The third thing really got me. He said, guess what? It's not downloadable software anymore where you need to spend 60 to 90 minutes setting things up. I made it web-based. I could have you trading live in 10 minutes. I said, what? So I said, let's do it. I bought the trader, the license on the spot, and in less than 10 minutes, I was live connected to my Coinbase account. That totally blew me away because I remember the old days, 2012, when I owned the stock trader back then. I knew what it was like. But really, folks, the number 4 thing that Ed told me was the most important one to me, and I'll share why. He said, Attila, I created an API connection. So this robotics crypto trader connects to your own Coinbase account or Kraken account. And I said, really? I said, that's interesting, Ed, because in the last 4.5 years, well, back then it was 3.5 years, I lost over $100,000 in various cash flow projects within the whole blockchain DeFi crypto space. And that's a lot of money to lose. I've made more than that, but still nobody wants to lose that kind of money. But why did I lose those monies? Here's why. I did not control my funds. My crypto was on a third party wallet or exchange. So when things went south, I couldn't get to my crypto. Here, we control our crypto 1000%. Mr. Barsano his trader does not touch our money. The trader is a tool to give signals to our own crypto exchange on when to buy, how much, at what price, and when to sell, how much and at what price. That's it, okay? It's just that it's got over 2.5 million lines of code, and it's very good at telling Coinbase and Kraken when to do that. Heck of a track record. So anyway, the bottom line is, as we go through this, and I said to Ed, I said, Ed, we got to help you take this to market because self-admittedly, Ed Barsano, his forte is not sales and marketing, but as a programmer and software engineer, what he put together is really pure genius. I mean, he says he plays it down and he said it's just numbers going up and down. But what the trader does in the background is quite remarkable, as you'll see when we go through this. But what I'd like everybody to do is keep 2 or 3 things at the forefront of your minds, and then I'll turn it over to Edward one more time before we introduce Ed. And that is this. When we say this trader is set it and forget it, we want you to take that literally. What we mean by that is when you buy the license and you go live with whatever amount of money, you don't have to look at it. You don't have to touch it. You don't have to copy trade. You don't have to interact with it. You literally can go away for 2 months, never look at your trader, and it's working for you daily on Ed Barsano's servers. That's remarkable. There's nothing else in the marketplace that works as effectively as this does, where it's set it and forget it. Trust me on that one. We've looked high and low. Number 2, think about what this man has done. He leveled the playing field back in the day where nobody has to be accredited as an investor. Nobody needs to know a thing about trading. Nobody needs to know anything about crypto. You hardly have to know anything about computers even. And with that, with this license, you can make money in your sleep. We follow the Warren Buffett theory. His theory is if you're not making money while you sleep, you're going to work till you die. And I tend to agree with that. So there's not many places in this world, in TradFi, which is traditional finance, nor this digital money revolution we're lucky enough to be in right now, where you can make money in your sleep and your money's safe. That's a big deal. Okay. And the last thing I'll say is, as Mr. Barsano speaks today, he's going to say, when you do this with your trader, when your trader does this, or when you do this, he means the trader. You're not doing anything. You just make the decision initially to take advantage of the $1,000 discount you get with Crypto Casey's link. You buy the 3-year license. That's the only decision you got to make. Actually, there's one more. How much money do you want to go live with? You could always add to your account. If you start with 5 grand, you could add 5 grand a month later, a week later, a day later. The trader picks it up. You don't even have to tell the trader. It picks it up, it knows. You just add it to your exchange. So now I'm done with my portion. I want to turn it over just for 2 minutes again to Edward. He's going to share a simulation account that he set up a couple months ago that blew my mind when he shared it with me. And I've been looking at traders since 2012. This one really blew my mind. Edward, do you mind sharing your screen and telling everybody about what you did here about 2 months ago, maybe a tad over now, with your paper trading account?
Indeed. So it was 64 days ago. I keep mentioning the billion-dollar report, and I'm going to flash that up for a second so you have a reference, but I'm not going to tell you anything about it until we tell you in detail about it later.
Cool.
Those of you who've seen this, you understand it. So give me a second to change. So this is an aggregated report that's not available anywhere else on the planet. So keep that in mind, and then we'll talk about it in detail later and why it's so powerful and why I call it the billion report.
Good idea.
So, all right, this is a simulated account, but it is using the genius of the information I just showed you. You didn't have a chance to digest it, but we'll make it make sense. Of some of the highest trading, most volatile cryptos in the space. It's based on real live information that is calculated and aggregated and presented by GoBabyTrade and its company that literally does not exist anywhere else on the planet. So there's a good foundation. So I started this, I think I went to public school, so it's close, 64 days ago.
Hold on, Edward. Hold on. Time
Yes.
out a second. You told me and I saw your account previously. You started this simulation account with the 3 default cryptos that Ed Barsano's been using since day one, right?
I
And
did. And
and then
I added one to it.
you added one. So at some point, you made a determination, you know what? Since it's a simulation account, let me experiment. And let
Yep.
me go to the highest trade count report and pick 3 or 4 others that are maybe very different than Ed Barsano's default coins. And that's when that date you just pointed to, that's when you made the switch, right?
That's correct.
Okay.
And I did this. This was a test to lend credibility and proof of concept, or not proof, it's not a concept. It's real, to lend proof that the billion-dollar report that doesn't exist and cannot be, even if you had access to it, which you kind of do, and we'll explain that. But only the platform, the GoBabyTrade platform, has the power on a millisecond to be able to employ and make money using that data. So what I did was did a little bit of research on the top 10, pulled 4 out of that top 10, and 64 days ago let it go. And this is what it's produced. So the simulation started with $100,000. This tells you what today's profit is in a down market. Everything was down this morning and ended up taking profits, and then things are starting to turn to the positive. This is its 30-day profit taken. 30 days. 30
Wow.
days. So let me add some relevance to that. If it continues at that pace, which now, if everybody's watching the market, we're coming out of a crypto blizzard, not a crypto winter, of 80% plus down market. In an 80% down market, and we have proof, this system, it's not a bot, it's a complete money management system. An automated crypto trader has been producing triple digits over that crypto blizzard. So and now we're just starting to turn. So it's perfect timing to test the theory, and the report is relatively new, past 6 months, I believe. So if you annualize this 12.9, you're looking at 157.17% annualized. This is the total profit it's taken since the March 25th. And if you annualize that, it's a really poor performance at almost 125% annualized. So if you looked at it, let's just be ultra conservative. And granted, this is real. The trader doesn't know that I'm simulating. This is real data, real trading data that if I had I wish I had the $100,000 in here, I'd be quite happy. But I'm still very happy because I'm blessed to be able to have access to this tool. But even if you look at it conservatively, what are you making in CDs? Almost this much money? What are you making in the stock market that's highly volatile, that you don't have any control of, that there is no mitigated risk? And we'll talk about those things. But if it were 30% on your money, and by the way, we do a lot of research and data, and those people in the community benefit from it. If you're not making 20 to 25% on your money, then you're either going broke fast or going broke slow. If it's not keeping up with the economic conditions, which quite frankly, with the collapse in the bonds and the market, hold on to your hat because it's going to get worse. But if you look at just a conservative number, if it were making you 30% on your money in your sleep, would you be satisfied? Let alone 125, 126, 150% on your money. So a real good example, and anybody can send me an email, ask me questions, but you'll have access to this information, and you have the same opportunity. This is not a fluke. This is not a one-off. The market's starting to turn positive. There's in a down market and an up market. What this system has proven is it's extraordinarily volatile all the time. And I'm going to pick on Mr. Barsano. What do I say about this trader? What does it eat?
Oh, it eats volatility.
It eats volatility.
I got it right.
You got it right. Gold star. So, well, thank you for allowing me to share that. I'll turn it back over to you, Attila.
Yeah, and obviously, folks, like Edward shared the disclosure or disclaimer. There's no guarantee on that. I mean, it could be 70% less, which still would be like what, 30, 40%. It could be more. Okay, but it's all, as we go through this today, just remember one thing, folks. These two words, it's all market dependent. Okay, I've had people email me saying, man, my trader didn't take a profit all day today. I've gone 4 or 5 days without a profit because the market's at a standstill. Nothing's happening. And if that's the case, but I've also had days where it's taken profits 7, 8, 9 days in a row. So it's all over the map. Anyway, Mr. Barsano will cover that. It's time to introduce our special guest. Ed, first of all, thank you so much for joining us again, week after week. It's great to have you.
I love doing it. And the
Yep.
questions are always different. And,
Yeah.
we talk with no notes.
No, we don't need notes.
I'm gonna pipe in for a second. We've gotten some comments from folks. And by the way, the only people that have anything negative to say about this environment, us individually, particularly Mr. Cary Grant, Mr. Cary Barsano, that is the only people that offer negative commentary are those that don't own the trader. But
they're in denial.
And they're in denial, but then they also comment about, well, if Mr. Barsano is a special guest, why does he join you every week? Because he's the special guest that created the environment and created the opportunity where you can, those returns. I've got a little blister on this finger. I'm not sure whether you can see it. That's from logging into my account to see how much it's made. So with that, you are always our special guest. Yeah. We love you. We appreciate you. You've given us all the opportunity to participate.
Yeah, and the reason we have you on, Ed, we get a lot of questions over and over and over and over again. The most common question we get that I'd like you to answer first is, for the sake of everybody on here today, is we hear these buzzwords all the time. AI bot this, AI bot that, AI crypto bot, AI crypto trading bot. It's a fad for the last 1 or 2 years. But what you've created is like Edward said, a full money management system. It's a robotic, autonomous trader with AI. Can you tell everyone the difference between your platform? What differentiates your platform from all these fancy buzzwords being thrown?
All those other fake systems?
Yeah.
Do you mind if I just address some of the comments that you made, Attila?
Oh, please do. I got thick skin.
He never corrects me.
2
You
weeks
know,
in a
I have
row.
my Apple 101 tablet here.
Your Apple iPad?
Let's see. You said 10 lifetime opportunity. You said a lifetime opportunity. It's a 10 lifetime opportunity. It's really a one-time opportunity because the internet revolution's over. I mean, I was doing that and we were programming the internet in 89 at Microsoft. Some of you might know it, the Geisco network.
Yep.
Some of you may remember that. It was a pad, it was a little booklet, and you could, whatever city you were in, you just look up your city in that booklet and you dial your modem into that number. And
Huh.
that put you on the Geisco network. It was like the World Wide Web, but it
Wow.
wasn't the World Wide Web. It wasn't opened. It was just if you had that service. So we were programming AI, I mean the internet, all the way back in 89. And we were also programming AI in 89. Um,
Mhm.
but you know, it's really a one-time opportunity because you had the internet revolution that's already passed, right? You had the tech revolution that's already passed, really. This one here is the big one.
Yep.
You know, the crypto revolution is going to be the biggest moneymaker. I mean, I can tell you right now, the wealthy are loading up like crazy. I mean, I'm talking individuals, 50 million, 60 million, 100 million. They are looking for the biggest payday ever. This is it. And we are in at the ground floor. What an opportunity. I mean, I saw something that the other day that said in 2000 and what was it? 2002, there were only 560 million people using the internet. I mean, now there's billions of people using the internet. And we're right there right now with the cryptos. You know, 560 million people worldwide using cryptos. And I can tell you, I do surveys everywhere I go. Some of you have already heard me say it. I'll walk into a UPS store to return something that we bought at Amazon. You know, some of you might do that too. You order, Amazon's really cool. They make returns super easy. And I'll walk in there and I'll say to the gentleman behind the counter as I'm walking up, "So, how's your crypto doing?" Just to get a survey, just to hear what they say. Or if I'm in like a Quest Diagnostics, you know, the blood work place, just sitting in a whole room full of quiet, nobody's talking, man. Who could sit in there? It's like you're waiting to die or something. I don't know. That's crazy. You know, and I'll just blurt out, "So, you guys want to talk crypto?" And just to, you know, and it's amazed how afraid they all are when you say that stuff. Like they're really afraid of crypto. They really know nothing. I'm going to say that probably 99% of society doesn't know anything. They're out of it completely. And we're all in on the ground floor, man. We are going to make a fortune. And you know, you always hear Attila mentioning, you know, these phrases like radfi,
TradFi.
Traditional
Traditional.
finance.
you know, DeFi. You know, the only one I know that knows all these internet crypto terms is Crypto Casey, you know? I mean, she intimidates the heck out of me when she talks, you know? You know, I met her a couple of weeks ago. She came to Vegas.
You met her in person a couple weeks ago, but you've known
Yeah,
her now for
yeah, that was
over a
really,
year.
I was
Right.
so afraid to meet her, you know, and you know, but she is just so intelligent. It's mind-boggling. Um,
Well, and that's why
anyway,
most everybody is here, or we're friends of Crypto Casey that have been following her. You know, we work with her very closely. We obviously we're supporting her audience, you and family and community, and we think she's genius because as she back in 2017, 18 was learning this new. I mean, then if you said crypto or Bitcoin, you were either a thief or crazy. Um,
yeah,
that was the feedback. But you know, she took the time to learn, and then she went, well, hang on a second, I'm learning this thing new. This is a new space. I think maybe other people would want to learn. So that's the whole genesis. And those of you that follow her, we know her personally, and she literally is committed to your positive results in learning a market that, as Mr. Barsano said, is on the ground floor.
Yeah, and she shares it with everyone. That is absolutely amazing. I mean, I listen to her videos. You guys should go to YouTube and type in Crypto Casey and listen to so much that she knows. And I know, I go to YouTube and then I type in GoBabyTrade. And and I listen to her videos about what she says about GoBabyTrade. It's really cool. But what Attila said about 10 lifetime opportunity, this one here is it. This really is it. We're all getting older, and what else is coming? AI, the AI that's out there is all fake. The stuff that they're doing, and the stuff that they're saying, like AI is going to have consciousness and all that stuff. Not in my lifetime, it's not.
I know a lot of humans that don't have consciousness.
This is like, well, anyways, the next thing, Crypto Attila said,
That's awesome.
he said, he said that it was unfortunate the 2000 crash when 60% of my wealth vaporized. I didn't know anything about the stock market. I mean, I had a buttload of money, millions, pre 2000, and I was just in all the tech stocks like everybody else, and it was all going up. So I didn't need to know anything. And so when the market crashed and 60% of my wealth, at least 60% vaporized, it was like it really was a good thing. It was a fortunate thing. Took me out of retirement. I said, you know what? Retiring at 39 was crazy anyway. So just you picked on the wrong guy. I said, I'm going to hurt you for that. I don't know who you is, but I'm going to hurt you for that. I'm going to automate this market. And automation was not new to me, by the way. If some of you that might be in business, when I used to write programs, I'd write like, say I want to process yesterday's payroll data, for example. So first you have to run the payroll program to get the payroll data, yesterday's data, and then you have to write the next program that has to process it. They have to run in order, right? But in the government, sometimes the operator that's running the programs, he'd run the wrong program first, so I'm processing the previous day's data, and then he would load in the new data. And it's like, that's backwards. So so all the way back then, all the way back in 87, I automated that process and I said, you know what? Just run the full automation program, the operations program, and let the program deal with the order everything's running. Let the program run all the programs instead of instead of the operator having to run one after the other and the other. Just run one program and let the full automated program handle the rest of the schedule. Let that program run all the jobs. So I've been doing it, for a real long time. So it wasn't new to me to fully automate. It was obvious to fully automate it. And then the next note I made here, while I have these notes I made while Attila was talking. Full automation experience. I talked about that. Cryptos. How do cryptos move? That is something that I was fascinated by. What makes cryptos so cool? Stocks. I'm going to grab my prop for a second.
This segment
My
sponsored
smart
by Smart
water
Water.
bottle. This is my prop. When stocks move, they move slowly, up and down, right? But cryptos jump around. I was amazed by that. When I turned on my auto trader in April of 21, first thing I said is, oh my God, I'm done with stocks. After 21 years, I'm like, whoa, I'm done with stocks, man. These cryptos are jumping all over the place. And they're not just moving, they're jumping. The prices are jumping around. It jumps up 19%. And then it jumps back 19%, which is amazing. So that's what's, you know, see, they just move so much differently than stocks. And I don't think people are prepared for that. You can't follow the same rules you did with stocks. It doesn't work with cryptos. You're going to lose a lot of money doing that. And then the next thing I wanted to write here is cash flow is king. If you ever put that on a t-shirt, you got to put Attila's name under it. Because I mean, that is right. Cash is not king. And we've heard that our whole lives. Cash is king. Cash is king. No, it isn't. Cash flow is king. I mean, you gotta be turning inventory,
Right.
buying and selling, not just buying and holding. I mean, if you think about it, if someone bought a coin up here at 12 cents and it dropped all the way down to 1 cent, they're dead. And that's really where alchemy pays ACH from 3 years ago. It was at 12 cents and now it's at 2 cents. So the buy and holders out there right now that have been sitting on that all this time for 3 years, they got to be jumping out of a window or something. I don't know what they're doing because they're not trading and the coin's going up and down. It's going from 2 cents to 5 cents, back down to 2.5 cents. I mean, it's just jumping. You're getting 100% returns, 200% returns. It's jumping all over the place. And what are the buy and holders doing? They're miserable. You know what they're doing? They're selling it at a loss up here. They're selling what they bought at 12 cents. They're dumping it at 2 cents. They're just gambling. They're throwing away their money. And, the auto trader, make sure you're always in the game. So it allocates funds, and we're gonna go. We'll get into that. It allocates funds properly, but the um, um, cryptos, even though they're low priced, this is what I hear a lot when I talk to people. People think I've heard people say, "Well, cryptos are like penny stocks." I'm like, no, they're not. A 2 cent cryptos really should be worth $20. But we're at the very beginning. This is like buying Gillette in the 40s. We are like the opportunity we have before us is uncharted. I mean, this is just crazy. Like I said, it's like buying Gillette in the 40s. These 2 cent coins of companies that are worth billions of dollars. Look at penny stocks in the stock market. Those companies aren't worth billions of dollars. But these crypto coins, the companies of coins that are worth only, like Alchemy Pay is worth billions. GRT, the graph, worth billions. I mean, these are not a joke, and their prices are ridiculously low. So what an opportunity we have there. I only have one more thing here. Oh, no stock rules. Completely different than the stock market. There are no rules in trading. In the stock market, if you have less than $25,000, there's a rule that says you cannot execute more than 3 round trips in a 5-day period. A round trip is the buy and sell of the same coin on the same day. So if I buy and sell a coin on one day, the same coin, and even the next day or the same day I buy another coin and sell it on the same day, that's 2 round trips. It doesn't have to be for the same coin. And then another coin, buy and sell on the same day, that's 3 round trips. You're done for 5 days. In the stock market, they won't let you execute another trade. And if you violate that rule and do 4 round trips, they'll let you do it, but then they'll freeze your account for 4 months. We don't have that rule with cryptos. You could do 20 round trips in the same day, even if you have a $200 account. You don't need 25,000 in your account. So there's, the stock rules are gone. And like Attila said, the stocks trade 6 hours a day. Crypto's 24/7. And you're going to see trades that occur, and many of you already have the auto trader. You can look at the times of the trades. I love it when I'm making money at 2 in the morning while I'm sleeping. That's
Yeah.
cool.
Yep.
And the last thing I want to say before I get into AI is people violate the rules, not the auto trader. So it's the people that don't they want to, you're naturally gambling. A lot of people, they think the stock market or the crypto market is gambling, and really it isn't. the crypto market is just like running a business. It's been around, the commerce rules have been around for 1,000 years. If you're running a 7-Eleven, I don't know why I always look to my left when I say 7-Eleven, like the store's right there. But if you're running a 7-Eleven, you put product on the shelf and you sell it at a higher price. You don't have to gamble. That's what they're doing. And they know how to keep inventory on the shelves. If you have no inventory on the shelf, then you're not selling anything. So the auto trader runs exactly the same way. We're not gambling at all. The robotic trader is not a gambling system. Whereas all these other systems out there, they're gambling because they're sitting there trying to predict what a coin's going to do tomorrow. And I'm like, you can't do that. Nobody knows what a coin will do tomorrow. Any of these coins could jump up 100% tomorrow. And there's no way you can know that in advance. So to answer your question about AI,
Yeah.
let's go in. That was my last. So AI's been around since 1955. Some of you already know that. But you would have needed a huge mainframe to use it. But Microsoft sent me to AI school in 1989 because we were getting so many phone calls, like 1 million phone calls a day. And you had the people answering those phones. We were filling up buildings full of people to just answer phones. And we knew we had to put a stop to that. So they sent me off to a class in Maryland. Ed, you got 2 weeks. You better come back with a solution, that so the phones can answer the phones, or the AI can answer the phones and just shoot that call to the support person where it needs to go. And I was in there with McDonald's. They were using AI for traffic patterns. And the big joke there was, where to put the next McDonald's. The big joke there was Burger King builds theirs right next door. I just saw it yesterday twice while I was on the highway. I actually passed up. I passed up a McDonald's, and what was right next door? A Burger King. I mean, how evil could that be? To put a Burger King right next door. So anyways, that's what they do. So AI is, what I like to say is AI is like, you can see a zebra through a picket fence. And, AI is for like eye scans, fingerprint analysis. It's for, and if you're going to use it for the market, for cryptos or stocks, it's got to be immediate. It's what is happening right now. It's pattern recognition, okay? It recognizes the pattern. It says, I've seen the pattern 1 million times. And when you first turn AI on, it can't tell you 2 + 2 is 4. It just can't. It has to see history. It has to see data. It has to see patterns and say, so the AI says, well, every time I see the 2 and the 2, the final answer is always 4, or most of the time. Sometimes it's not. If they might go to Harvard. That was a bad joke. and they can't, and they don't know math, remedial math. Anyways, I'm not political though, so erase that. Cut that out of the film because it was a joke. Anyways, but even if the AI could tell you 2 + 2 is 4, even it would tell you it's only 98% sure of it, because sometimes it saw other answers. And so sometimes you'll see someone sitting behind 6 monitors, right? And what they're doing is they want to see all the indicators pointing in some direction, either up or down. They want to see, that's what they're looking for. That's what individuals are looking for. But our AI has 27 indicators in it. So it's like sitting behind 27 monitors. And they don't, all the indicators don't have to be pointing in the same direction. The AI puts weights on each indicator. And one of the examples I like to use for you people who know horse racing, if one of the indicators was it's raining outside, it's raining out. That indicator wouldn't mean anything to the stock market or the crypto market, but it would be a very valuable indicator for the horse racing because some horses can't run in the mud. A really great horse would end up last, could end up last because it doesn't know how to run in the mud. So that would be a valuable indicator for horse racing if you were writing a system for the horse races. So an indicator like that for the crypto market, the AI would assign a very low weight for that indicator. It would say, well, that one's not very valuable. I'm going to give that one a 1% weight. And when it's looking for pattern recognition, it's going to say, I only care about that indicator based on I'm going to give it a 1%. Whereas another indicator that says, is the price higher now than it was 1 minute ago? Maybe that's going to be a much higher, get a much higher weight. Or stochastics or MACD, relative strength index. Those kind of indicators are going to get weighted higher. It's amazing when you look at the code in the back end while you're watching it run, while the AI is running, the way it's firing the neurons and the connections. I'm like, it blows your mind. No, I can't even tell you what it's doing. I mean, it's pretty remarkable, and it's remarkably accurate. But you need a lot of data. You can't just slap out an AI system in a year. Even if you could, the AI systems that are out there now are brand new because they didn't exist from 2000 all the way until a couple of years ago. There were no AI systems. There were no fully automated systems at all for 20 years. I never saw any until the cryptos came up. And then all of a sudden these AI bots are popping up all over the place. I'm like, what's that? I mean, where are they getting their data? Because, I mean, you can't just get data from other places to use in your AI. The AI that we have in our system uses is actually generated by the auto traders. The auto trader knows what it needs, and it's feeding data to the AI in the way that it needs it, so that when the software is running, it can call the AI and get a meaningful answer back. That's valuable. You can't just call some AI that somebody else created. It's useless to your system. So, so AI, I mean, it would be like a 25-year-old competing with a 1-year-old. I mean, they really don't even have a prayer. I mean, in all honesty, somebody sent me a link once and it said, and I don't really like to look at other systems out there, but it said, look at this other AI system, Ed. What do you think? And as soon as I clicked on it, the first thing I saw was, we have 50 strategies you can pick from. I'm like, goodbye. I got one strategy. You got 50? I don't even know which one to pick. I mean, it's just, they're so fake, I mean, and I get feedback that tells me I'm right all along. For 20 years, I've always getting constant feedback. I have thousands of clients, and they're constantly telling me their feelings and what's working, what's not working. I've presented all over the country, like Attila said. We've flown on planes. We walked around the plane. I was going to lift up my laptop like you could see it. I was going to say, we walk around the plane with our laptop saying, look, this auto trader is trading the market in the middle of the day, in the middle of a trading day. That was so cool.
That was
And
great.
then you've also heard that other story, TD Ameritrade called me in 2006 out of the blue. I'm like, who are you and why are you calling me? I mean, how do you even know me? I said, because I never advertised. I'm just you hear about my system through word of mouth. That's how you guys all found me, I'm sure, just through word of mouth. And I said, why are you calling me? And you can't beat the guy's answer. He said, you're real. How do you like that? How do you like that? You're doing good, little Eddie. I mean, when I hear stuff like that, it's a remarkable answer. You're real. And I know I was real, and my auto traders are real. They really do work. Whereas everybody else out there are gambling. There's no gambling in this system. And everyone that owns an auto trader knows there's no gambling going on in this system. It's not gambling at all. It's telling you ahead of time, I'm going to buy this coin if it goes down to here. I'm going to sell it if it goes up to here. And this is where the AI comes in. AI cannot tell me. It's useless if the AI says this coin's going to go higher. Without the money management that the robotic trader is doing, that's a useless thing to tell me. So the AI says this coin's going to go higher right now. I don't care. Because you know what? If I bought it down here and I just bought it, telling me it's going to go higher doesn't mean anything. After it goes up and the software sees that it's profitable, now I've got a profitable position. I bought it here and the price has moved up to here. Then it calls the AI and says, AI, do you think it's going to go higher now from there? If AI does not think it's going to go higher, then we're going to take, and I say but the software will take the profit. If the AI says now that it's going to go higher, then the software will hold off on taking that profit. Same thing on the going down. When the price goes down from the last purchase that the trader made, when the software says I want to buy more now, then it'll call the AI and say, do you think it's going to go lower? And if the AI doesn't say it's going to go lower, the software takes or does the purchase. If the AI says it's going to go lower, then it waits and it lets the price go lower before it buys it. And it'll keep calling the AI until the AI gives up and says it's not going to go lower anymore. But that's all on pattern recognition and the AI telling me, when the auto trader is ready to make a trade, then it calls the AI. The trader is the star of the dish, the robotic trader. The AI is an add-on, kind of like two-factor authentication. It can throw out numbers all day long, but unless you're asking for the number, you're not looking at them. But when you're asked for the number, then it gives you the number. It's the same thing with the AI. It's a separate system. You could not run that AI on your computer, on one computer, because it's just too big. I mean, it runs on multiple servers. But your auto trader's job is to run like the ever-ready bunny rabbit. This thing is flying on our servers. And the beauty is it's got all these other programs around it feeding it. Feeding the auto trader, data feeds, AI, and just all kinds of stuff, feeding the trader. So the trader has one job: follow that money. Wherever the price goes, follow it. But I'm getting away from the AI now. So Attila, do you have another?
I mean,
Is
you
that your
hit
only
on.
question? Did we come here for one question?
No.
I'm
I
gonna take
never
off
run
my
out of
coat. I'm
questions.
getting a little hot.
I never run out of questions. But that was a great answer. I mean, it was a lot of content there, but the main thing is, I like what you said about the AI is not the star of the dish. The money management part in the trader is, and I like the part about comparing it with a 1 or 2 year old up against the 25-year-old. There is no comparison.
Well,
There's real,
And
my
I've never
contention,
found a competitor ever in 25 years.
yeah.
and Ed, you know what my contention is with that, right?
Nope,
It's
don't remember.
you can't argue that it's 25-year-old arguing with a 1-year-old. It's a 10,000-year-old arguing with a 1-year-old. Why? As I always say, the
Because it's
data
auto trader.
the data that is generated and fed into the AI, if you took one trader, right, you've got 10,000 out there. So let's use an example of 10,000. If 10,000 traders are all writing data, feeding that AI every single day, and you've got 10,000, and you've been
Every minute. Every minute.
every oh well, then the calculation just got blown off. My calculator can't calculate that high. But my calculations at a daily, not a minute by minute, at a daily rate, you have a 10,000-year-old arguing with a 1-year-old.
Right.
And it's all clean data. And you know what I mean about that is that all of it, this is all generated. I use the example of their Star Trek fans out there, the Borg, right? You've got the mothership and you've got all of the Borg out in existence. They're all connected to the matrix of the mothership, and they're all writing, making it smart, making the collective smarter and smarter and smarter. So, and you're right. There isn't any example that anybody could give that compares with what you've created. If you're talking about these 1 or 2-year-old, I've created a bot for this and a bot for that. Another big example, or another big very high point, is that any other AI thing that's out there that's related to crypto trading only stands on its own and sends you a signal. The fact that I commented, your system calculates things at a millisecond basis. Even if you had these outside things, AI bots that worked, what do you have to do? They give you this signal, and then you got to go do something. If you're in the bathroom, at work, at lunch, on a plane, you still have to do it all manually. Not GoBabyTrade. You've
Yeah,
answered every corner of the argument.
yeah, we're not going to be. I know my lifestyle, and Edward, I know how busy you are with your family. I don't want to be held hostage by any platform that requires me to be in front of a screen. That to me, that's nonsense. That's a waste of time. The fact that this is set it and forget it, and it's 100%, it works 100% unattended, to me is my most favorite part of the platform. Besides the fact that it just plain works and it's got a 25-year track record, but the fact that I don't have to have screen time, man,
Mm,
that's what
And
what.
you have companies like, in the stock market back in 2006, TD Ameritrade called, said, will you connect it to us so our clients can use it? And then a year later, E-Trade called
Yeah.
again out of the blue and said, will you connect your auto trader to us so our clients can use it? Then I had to help both of them write their code to do the connections. They didn't
Mhm.
have anything. Um, and then they wrote this up. If some of you, it was in the, I don't remember what month, but it was the 2009 Barron's newsletter.
Hmm.
And it said, here come the bots. And it only had me on there.
here come
You mean here comes the bot?
bot.
Serious, honestly. So I've always gotten good feedback, and that's what kept this project, I call it a project, going, all these years,
Yeah.
because I know I'm winning, I know I'm right, and I don't hear any criticisms. I mean, like Attila or Edward said, the only criticisms you will ever hear about GoBabyTrade on the internet are people who don't own an auto trader,
That is
because
true.
they're just in denial. They
Yeah.
say things like, well, if that was real, there'd be no stock market or no crypto market. If that was real, he wouldn't be sharing it with you, and things like that. If I wasn't sharing it with you, we wouldn't have a system, because I didn't know anything. People were feeding me what they wanted. And with the original system, I was actually giving them everything they asked for, because I want to know, hey, let's conquer the market together. So people, could you imagine calling a company and then talking to the founder, the creator, and they say, hey, I need this indicator. And then I write the indicator, or I give it to them, you know, the next day? Nobody's going to ever do that for you. But I fed that trader with everything that everybody asked for. And then there's another company called AAII, American Association of Individual Investors. You can go to it on the internet. AAI. It's not Alcoholics Anonymous. It's AAII.com. And they have chapters all over the country. So they have, and they need speakers, right? Every week or every month, that each one has a meeting. And I was the only one talking robotic traders, so that I was on the circuit, man. They were all calling me from, will you come and talk to our audience? And then I wouldn't take any money either. You know, sometimes they'd say, well, I can stipend you this, you know, this much for food and stuff. No, I don't want anything, man. This is an education tour for me. I'm learning and you're learning. You know, I love talking to your audience, especially face to face. And I learned something on, you know, when I went to all those places in Fort Worth, Dallas, Houston, Austin, Waco. That's just Texas. I
Mm.
mean, talk about Florida, you know, Tampa Bay, Orlando, West Palm Beach, Miami, Sarasota, that's in Florida, right?
Correct.
Yeah.
Yeah, all those places. And then go up and down California. I mean, I'm telling you, I presented everywhere, man, in the middle of the country. It's so cool. The different accents. I thought that was cool. Alabama. I love the Alabama accent. I think that's cool. That's a cool accent. South Carolina, too. They got great accents.
So Ed,
Australia's great also. Love Australian accent. But anyways, and I always joke with them when I talk to them. But anyways, I learned something really critical on those tours. I learned that everybody wants to make money, but nobody knew how. They were all gambling, every one of them. When I said I don't use a stop loss, I heard one guy in the audience say, "Oh my God, that's like catching a falling knife." You know, and they don't understand it. You know, my original auto trader didn't even have a stop loss in it. Can you imagine? Some of you stock traders would be like, oh my God, he didn't have a stop loss. I had an indicator called lock in loss. And, you know, and somebody called me once and he said, what is this lock in loss? I said, well, that's if you bought it at a higher price and it came down and you want to lock in that loss. And he said, isn't that a stop loss? I said, what the heck is a stop loss? And he said, well, a stop loss is if you bought it up here and it's going down and you want to stop the loss. I said, how do you know it's going down? You know it went down. You don't know it's going to keep going down. So anyways, I always give in to the public, just like I did with the website. I went and made it more traditional because too many people were asking for it. So I gave in. And so I went ahead and changed the name of lock-in loss on the website to stop in loss to the trader. I called it stop loss. But internally in the code, it's all still called lock-in loss. I wasn't going to change the database and everything. So it's still called lock-in loss. It's
hey
crazy.
Ed, let me ask you this now. The second most common question we get is it's actually not even a question, it's just a point of confusion. When someone goes live, they buy the license, they go live with whatever, 2,000, 5,000, 20,000, doesn't matter. They're
Mhm.
actually a little bit shocked that all that money is not pulled into the trader right away. Like when I went live with $9,000 when I started, the story I told, after 1 week, 700 only of the 9,000 was being utilized in the trader.
Oh, you mean when you say utilize, your term of utilize is different than my term of
That's
utilized.
true. That's true.
You know, when you say utilized, you're talking about
Open
bought.
positions, open positions.
Oh man, you mean like put all your money in there and just buy a bunch of coins with all your money? I
People,
think I should be shot if I did that to
yeah.
somebody.
I
No, the software is utilizing all your money in its calculations.
okay.
It's saying that, and this is where I turn the market upside down, right, Edward? Because everybody else that you see talk about a system would say, I bought it here and it went up. Everything they're doing is based on buy it here and it goes straight up. Well, my system, GoBabyTrade, looks at it and says, if I buy it here and it goes down, the whole system is based on going down. Going up is a no-brainer. You bought something that went up and you sell it and take profit. Actually, I thought that would be a no-brainer, but I'm watching people buy Bitcoin and sit on it. I'm like, wait, you're up all that money and you're sitting on it? I
Yeah.
mean, anyways, when you buy a coin, when the software buys a coin, it's reserving enough money to trade it. This is from the top to the bottom to be able to trade it no matter where it goes. Can I share my screen once and
Oh
tell you
yeah, please
this?
do.
I've already given you share.
Oh, thank you.
Yep, go
All
ahead.
right. So I was here's what happened. I was teaching a class in Raleigh, North Carolina, about a year and a half ago, I guess. And it was on how to create AI, right? AI systems. And then, but there was a whiteboard there, so I kind of migrated over to the whiteboard, and I drew a picture of a bucket and a well. Now, picture a bucket and a well. This is not a trick question. This is just, I think, common knowledge. You buy the bucket's at the top, it goes all the way down and gets the water. I really want everybody to understand this, the critical part of the system. If the bucket goes all the way down and gets the water and goes all the way back up and dumps out the water, right? Goes all the way back down again and gets the water, goes all the way back up and dumps it out. I said to the audience, there's 80 people in there, I said, if the bucket goes all the way down and all the way up and keeps repeating that, goes down, gets the water, comes up, dumps it out, how much water can it pump in a lifetime? And the obvious question was, how big's the bucket? But, I said, forget that. It's a lifetime. It doesn't matter. So then they started throwing out numbers. 1,000,000 gallons, 1,000,000,000 gallons, 1,000,000,000,000 gallons. Crazy numbers, right? And nobody questioned any of that. I said, okay, well, what happens if it's the crypto market and it doesn't matter how far down it goes? You just, wherever it goes, you're always buying, selling, buying, selling, buying, selling, buying, selling, buying, selling. And if you do money management and you reserve enough money to be able to go continue trading in perpetuity, no matter where the price goes, how much money can it pump? And here's the example. This is what I drew on the whiteboard.
Yeah, this is a great visual, by the way, folks.
There it is. This is a bucket and a well, and this is just pumping money no matter where the price goes. This is cryptos. And you're sitting on a few losers up here that are underwater. Don't worry about those, because when the price goes up there, you'll sell them. A well-seasoned auto trader has lots of inventory. See, when you get a big jump, all these sell off. So you're always, it doesn't matter where the price goes. You're always pumping water. I mean, always pumping money. It goes down, you buy, it goes up. I mean, this is like 3% moves. I'm not talking big moves. Up, down, just keep giving me money forever. And nobody can stop you. You're not violating any laws. You are doing what every store does out there. They buy a product, put it on their shelves, and sell it at a higher price. It's not rocket science. So when you say, is all the money being used? The money's being used in its calculation because it knows that it has so much money. So it knows in order to be able to trade in perpetuity like that, no matter where the price goes, you have to be able to buy at the lower price. What if it goes all down 80%? So the software is calculating how many shares can I buy? How much can I invest in each trade? All the way down to the bottom, so that no matter where it goes, you feed me money for life. This system is a life trader. Call it a life trader, because you're going to use this for the rest of your life. You're never going to turn this off, because it's like finding money on the ground every day of your life. Anybody have any questions about that? The funny thing is, in that room, by the way, those 80 people, when I drew a picture of this, I didn't have an animation at the time. So I heard one guy say, because I was using my hand, I said, if it goes down, buy, up, sell, buy, sell, buy, sell. No matter where it goes, buy, sell, buy, sell, buy, sell, buy, sell. Just keep buying and selling. Doesn't have to go all the way down, doesn't have to go all the way up. Just buy, sell, wherever it's at, forever. Take free money for life. And one guy in the audience said, there's no way that could be real. I love that. I get a kick out of that.
Yeah, Ed, why don't you show your trader now? That would be a good.
Okay.
Yeah.
The first thing I do when you say show your trader, it's because I don't look at my trader all forever. When
Yeah.
I'm on an event doing a Zoom, the first thing I looked at was this lower right corner here to see what trades it did today. Because if there's no date, that means today. Those are for today. So all it did is 2 buys.
Yep.
Yeah. So
Yesterday.
we start on the upper left. You got a live trader, and we got videos. If you click this, view videos, there's, you can see videos of whatever different sections of the trader. So you don't have to, so it'll tell you what's going on. Do I have another? Let me see. I'm trying to hide this floating thing.
Hmm.
All right, so there's a video that talks about this page, but it shows the account value, 954. And today's profits, no profits today. It's perfectly normal.
And then
You
hold
know,
on a second. Hold on, Ed. Usually we get a question typed in afterwards. Can you tell us approximately how much Mr. Barsano started this account with? I believe it was about 200K. Is that
200. All my traders start with 200. So
okay?
I started this one right. Can you imagine right when the crypto winter started in 12/19/2021? I released a fully robotic trader to the crypto market, and then the market starts crashing. You got to think I'm the unluckiest guy in the world. However, and the prices were dropping like a rock, man. And the auto trader was buying and buying and buying and buying, but it was also selling, wiggle as it wiggles. See, it's over here. You see your open positions P&L. This is your open positions for each coin, and this is how much was closed on the wiggle every time it goes up. Buy, sell, buy, sell. And on the sells, so the open positions can only go up and down, or they can only fluctuate as the price of the coin moves around. But the profits have one thing: they only go straight up. The software never sells at a loss. So it's like throwing marbles in a jar. Just you do that and watch how long it takes for that jar to start spilling over, because you can't deny the profits; they're real. And somebody called me after the first. It took about a year, man, from that when that major crypto that crash and the coins dropped like 90%. I mean, it was a major crash in the market. Those of you remember from October of 21 is when it really started. And I mean, like ACH, it was at 12 cents and it went all the way down to 1.5 cents. But then it was doing some crazy moves up and down. Somebody called me after about a year later. He said, "Ed, look at my trader." So I looked at his trader, and his closed positions P&L overtook the open positions. And it's like, oh boy, here we go. Because this number kept getting bigger and bigger and bigger, and this number could only go up and down. So we had them. We got the market trapped now. We got them trapped right where we want them, right at the bottom. And never feel alone. I mean, that's the thing. A lot of people feel alone. They go, "Oh, my coins are going down. What should I do?" Relax. Nobody in the world is making money on that coin. Everybody's frozen. Millions of people are sitting in that coin, and the price is down. And you know what they're doing? They're panicking and selling at a loss their coins. And what are
And
we
what are we
doing?
doing?
We're loading up and we're buying and selling on the wiggles. See, this
So,
is it.
so
You
I've
need
decided, Ed, that when people start buying the trader, we'll design it. I'm actually in a funny way serious about this. So you guys, you and Attila get to flip a coin to see who's on the front and the back of the t-shirt. So on the front, let's just say I'm going to put a picture of Attila with the quote. I don't know, maybe not pictures because people won't wear them, but the quotes, cash flow is king, Attila Hevesi, and then on the back, down is good, Ed Barsano.
Oh yeah, right. Well, how about the $1 billion report? You gave it that name. That's a
Yeah,
cool name.
it's
Yeah,
it,
that
it's
report is $1 billion report. We
yeah,
only trade coins that move,
that's right.
whereas a lot of people trade junk, coins
That's
that'll
right.
give them 4 trades in a month. We trade coins that'll give them 55 trades and up.
And and for the newcomers, and you know Ed, what you've done, and I was scratching my head as to why would he give that information away? You, you've
I
you've
never hide
allowed
anything.
allowed people to access that report, and I think I alluded to it before, is they can actually see that you have a tool built in that helps them analyze. Because everybody always asks, hey, what coins do I? How do I know which coins to trade?
That's a common question.
Right, you've created that report, but you've given it away, and I just figured out why. You allow if people go to using, and I'll post it again, the link, Crypto Casey's discounted link. Don't go directly to GoBabyTrade. Not that Ed wouldn't want you to, but you're going to pay $1,000 more for the 3-year license. He's been kind enough to extend to Crypto Casey that discount. And also, the question always comes up about renewals. Okay, after that 3 years, what happens is that Ed has also extended his
Renew at that
gratitude
rate.
and allowing you to renew at that reduced rate. But if you go to that link, I'm going to post it now because it's part of the conversation. Is that when you go to that link and click on it, and Ed's going to show you that you have access to that report to do your own research before you even decide whether you want to use the trader or not. But I figured out why you did it. Maybe you didn't know why you did it, but giving
Yeah,
people
tell me
access.
why. Tell me why I did it.
Here's the result. People can it's only a $10 report versus $1 billion report unless you have the trader trading for you because you can't
Oh yeah,
calculate.
these
You can't
numbers
calculate.
mean nothing if you don't have a trader trading.
Right, right.
If
So
you're not taking advantage of these wiggles, yeah.
so I don't know whether that was the onset, but that's
No,
I'm a little slow, but
it
that's what I
wasn't.
figured
I
out.
just share. I always just share. It was easier just put it up on the internet and let
Yeah.
everybody have it. I don't mind.
So
It doesn't
Ed,
hurt me at all. The
Ed,
the the crypto market, when you're buying something and selling, there doesn't have to be a loser in there. All right. Say you want to buy a loaf of bread. You're at home. You want to make a ham sandwich, there's no bread. So you want to buy a loaf of bread. So you go down to the 7-Eleven and you pick up a loaf of bread. You gained because you bought the bread. The 7-Eleven gained because they sold you the bread. There's no loser there. Because some people say, well, what if everybody was running an auto trader? First off, that would never happen because people are so severely brainwashed that they're in their minds they can't even fathom it. I could, you just like right now there are a number of you that are online on this site right now on this webinar that are looking at this and will not buy it. Now that's a therapy thing for me. I can't figure it out. I've been doing this 25 years. If you're talking to a therapist, what do? You sit back and you do all the talking and a therapist listens. So this is a therapy session for me because I can't figure it out either. It's like, man, I'm giving you the holy grail and I've been giving it away for 25 years and all the evidence says I'm right and it works. But yet the public is so, I don't know what it is. I haven't figured it out. Maybe you guys can share that with me sometime and tell
well,
me
we
why. I would love to hear the people who are not, that are listening and are not going to purchase a robotic trader because this is gold for life. I would
well,
like to hear the reasons why. I think that would be cool. That would be a fun webinar, wouldn't it? To
I
hear
think
the
the reason
reasons.
is I think the reason is it's human nature that people hear, but they're not listening, or vice versa. They're listening, but they don't hear what's being said. Some people miss the fact that this has a 25-year history behind it. Granted, only 4 of those years are fully entrenched in the crypto part of the
In
trade.
crypto, yeah.
But you've
But it's
got
the
that
same.
history and that data that you rolled into the crypto trader from what you did with the stock. So, I have people asking me, hey, can I try this for a month or two to see if it works? And I
We
say,
know it
you
works.
know what my answer is? The test is over. The trial is over. It's got a 25-year track record. So there's nothing to test. The test.
Every one time I said, because we always talk about all the good stuff, right? Everything you hear is good, 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 good. somebody asked me once, well, you told us all the good stuff. Tell us some of the bad stuff now. You know, I don't, as far as the robotic trader is, there's no bad stuff. Because I improve things over the years, you see something that doesn't work and you fix it over 25 years. That's how the world works. I mean,
Yeah.
I didn't know that when I turned on the stock traders that sometimes the 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 broker's data feed is going to stop in the middle of the day. Don't you think that was a shocker to me too? So then I added multiple data feeds, so when one data feed stops from one broker, don't worry, we have more data coming in from somewhere from another source. You learn as you go and you keep improving things. I mean, this trader now it's web based. The original robotic trader, you had to download it onto your computer. How long did that take, Attila?
60 to 90 minutes. It was cumbersome. Let me say that.
Yeah, the first original auto trader I had, and I had clients all over the world downloading software. I had 40 support people, fielding phone calls. People, hey, I'm trying to install this software. I didn't know that Joe Public doesn't know how to install software. It was a surprise to me coming out of Microsoft. I thought this stuff was second nature, but a lot of people don't know. I'm not putting anyone down. I'm just saying that it was a surprise. It was a culture shock for me to find out that people couldn't do a lot of stuff that I knew that was second nature to me. So, so the first auto trader, and then it had so much in it. And the AI that was in it was just, I mean, I added AI to it, and it would literally, again, I didn't realize they're not running on powerful computers. I'm running on, man, my computers. I mean, I got an i9 processor in my laptop. I don't know what other people are running with. But, and my servers, I have lots of servers. But I didn't realize that when the auto trader runs, you're not really the old system that you wouldn't be able to run other things at the same time because the auto trader's sucking up all the memory and everything. So, and I learned, all right. So that's why I sold that company off. That was one of the reasons. And I rewrote the software. I actually sold it, I think, around 2018, and I spent 2 years rewriting the software to go completely web based, where all the servers, all the auto traders are running on my servers at a co-location center, and your auto trader is running on the servers also. So it's called an intranet, and everything it needs is it's in its own intranet in its own ecosystem and everything. When you do it that way and you don't have to go over the World Wide Web to feed the auto traders data and information, man, the auto traders run, man, like the ever ready bunny rabbit. They are flying. And if anything, if any auto trader, I think it's kind of cool with thousands of auto traders running. If any auto trader stopped running, I would get an alert on my phone. And do you know how rare it is for that alert? I think it's so I know those auto traders are flying, man. They're running and they're just stalking that market, man. Just waiting and we're invisible, by the way. The auto trader knows what it's going to buy. And if I go back to my trader here, we really didn't talk about the trader, but if I click on the plus right here, see, this here is a summary line. But if I click on this, tells me I have 15 lots. That means it bought and sold. It's buying and selling the whole time, but it's slowly accumulating more because the trend is down and you're sitting on all this inventory. Each finger is one lot, one purchase. So you got a whole bunch of these. And I can click on this plus and expand it. And I can see the individual lots under it, that each one of those. And like the last lot, like this one is down 6%. He really should be buying. Let's see what his rule is here, why it's not buying. It says the next estimated trade price is this. See, it's actually telling us what it's going to buy at. It's saying 23126. And the current price, see it says current here, is right here, 23338. So it's got to drop to 23126 before it buys. So it's telling us when it's going to buy. And it's actually telling us when it's going to sell. If this 23338, which is where it's at now, goes to 25803, then it's going to sell because that's the target. So it's telling us when it's going to buy, when it's going to sell. It's telling us it actually knows the quantity. The selling is easy because it's going to sell the quantity, whatever it happens to be in already. If you're selling an existing position. But for buying, it's saying what the new quantity will be if it drops to that price. So it's actually telling you, see, when it's going to buy, when it's going to sell. It's not a black box. There's no secrets here. The only difference is AI could be holding up a position for why isn't, if it says it wants to buy more if the price drops, say the price drops to 23126, the AI will get called and it'll say, AI, do you think it's going to go lower? Based on the whole, everything going on in the market, 27 indicators are in the AI. Those of you interested in those indicators, get the technical analysis from A to Z. It's a little skinny book about that, like that. You can even get it on eBay. Technical analysis from A to Z. It tells you when each indicator is bullish and bearish. So this is right out of the book. I'm not making anything up. There's no guessing going on here at all. So you actually know what's going on. We interrogate the level 2. See that L2 there? I can click on that. We interrogate the level 2. See, I've just stopped it. I tried to stop it. I clicked it. Okay. There's a lot of manipulation in the level 2 screen. Like, see here, at this price, 2332 only has 7,000 shares available at that price. So if I wanted to sell 10,000 shares, it would have to uptick to the next price. And so there's a lot of numbers in here. Sometimes there's real bad numbers. Like, look at this one down here, lower down here, 100 shares. That's real bad. That's just like a fake number because who's trading in 100 shares of ACH? Nobody. So it's giving you a fake number saying, if you're selling it, you can sell it at that price, but in reality, it's going to drop down to the next price. So there's a lot of fakery going on in the level 2 screen. And I didn't tell any stories about that. Way I could for a second. When I first automated the market, remember I said I didn't know anything in 2000. I was just in everything when the market crashed. So I needed data in order to program the auto traders when I set out to program them. So I went down to a co-location or a prop house. It's called a prop house where all these professional traders are sitting there trading. And so I didn't want to just, get their data on my laptop. I was just sucking down their data so that I could play it back later. So I was going ahead and manually trading. So I bought some like Microsoft. And then I just blurted out loud because everybody knows I'm real vocal. I'm not bashful. I'm not bashful. I
Yeah,
said,
that's for sure.
how do I know when to sell this Microsoft that I just bought? I just announced that to the whole room. And somebody came up on this shoulder and he says, that's easy. You see that guy's sell order right there? Or buy order? Buy right under him. And that's this numbers here. This is the level 2 screen. These are orders. Level 2 screen is actually your orders in public view. Professional traders can't trade without looking at this data. They're literally looking at your orders. And, so the auto trader, so the first thing I said is, whoa, I got to hide everything we're doing. So the auto trader knows what it's doing. It's keeping track of everything it's going to do. It does not put any orders in public view. So you're invisible. Even the exchange, Coinbase and Kraken, they don't know what you're doing. They just see orders coming at them. Buy this, sell this, buy this, sell this. They don't know what you're doing at all. You're invisible.
Hey,
So
Ed,
then you
can
have managed profits down here where you save your profits. The goal is to save all of your profits as it's coming in. I don't like to just use it right away. I say the auto trader's job is to make money. How you spend it is on you. Now, the problem with if you just say, well, I mean, and I hear it a lot and I see it a lot of people will say, well, I want to save 0% of the profits. I want the auto trader to use all the profits as it's getting it. Okay, well, that's fine. In a down market, you're just throwing your profits into a black hole. You're just throwing all those extra money in, and I had a debate with my wife for a couple of years over this topic, and she was saving her profits and I wasn't saving mine. And I'll tell you, she was right. As always. And that's where the marital advice comes in. I'm kidding. Just do what your wife says. Um, so I watched her because she was building up all her profits in a down market that was holding the account value much higher. And so I learned my lesson. And so now the default strategy has it set already to save 100%. Actually, the strategy is already set. Do you guys want to take a quick look over here at the strategy itself? And if I go down here, here's the rules. They're already all set. It's
yeah,
only
yeah,
one screen of settings. I went from the old system that had 10 screens of ways to blow yourself up to one screen. And they're critical. Every setting is perfect and it's already set.
yeah. Do yourselves a favor, folks. Don't touch that screen. There's
I
no
know.
reason to. It's all based on 25 years experience. It's all done. That's another thing I loved about even my stock trader. I really didn't adjust anything, but this was even much easier, much shorter, one page.
Oh yeah, you
I,
were up and running in like 8 minutes, man. We
yeah,
had you up and running. But here's how it runs. The concept is so critical. You see all this? This is all selling here on the lower right. You can see all the profits. But then you go like to the next few days, you got all these buys in between. You got buys and sells. And here, look at on September 30th, just buys right here, these few. Just buys, no sells. October 1st, look at this. All these buys in the early morning hours, in the morning, and then you got one sell and then some more buys, and you got buys and sells, buys and sells. You see, this is a concept that people have to understand. It's critical to know this stuff. And it's common sense stuff too, by the way. You if you sell all your inventory, then you got to restock the shelves. You got to rebuy. And then you sell it. And then you buy more. And then you sell it. And you can just watch the history go by of all the buys and sells as they go by. You can't just have all sells every day because you have to have inventory to sell. So you just can't sell, 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 sell. Everybody wants everything to go up, 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 and it's like, no, then you have no inventory. And I watch it in stores, while I'm busy pushing the cart and my wife is figuring out what to put in the cart. One time I was watching her, she was looking at it was like the cheese and stuff, right? Those packets and all this different stuff. And I was watching her and I was trying to guess which one of those she's going to put in the cart. And I'm trying to figure it out. And then she came back and didn't throw anything in the cart and we moved on. I'm lost. I mean, I would not know what to do. When I'm in the store, and I always have to call for further, further, further advice.
yeah.
But when I'm pushing the cart in the store, I'm not just pushing the cart. I'm looking around, all people can relate to that. I'm looking around, but what I'm looking at is I see the aisles are packed. Like I was in Walmart once, or Trader Joe's, excuse me, and they were coming. We're pushing the carts from both directions. There's no arrows. They got rid of the arrows after COVID, right? They're coming from both directions, man. The aisle was packed. And I'm looking in there, and what's in there? You got a worker on the right, you got a worker on the left, and what are they doing? They're refilling the shelves. You never want to have an empty shelf. If you have an empty shelf, then customers are just going to walk by and see an empty shelf. They're not going to buy it. You always have to have inventory on the shelves. And if you were running a store, you would make sure those shelves are always full. And I always say to myself, if I'm going by in a store and I see empty shelves, I'm thinking, yeah, because it's the workers that aren't filling the shelves. If you own that store, you would make sure those shelves are full. Seriously. And one time I saw an end cap, and that's like the most valuable space in a store.
Yep.
For product sales, people come through the main aisle. You got the end caps with products on it. I actually saw a couple weeks ago an end cap empty completely. Blows my mind because I think of the auto traders. It all relates. It's all the same. You have to have product on the shelf. The new clients, when you first come on, Jose, you just signed up today. Your auto trader is going to buy some product, right? And put it some coins and put it on the shelf. You only own one lot. When that coin jumps, if the coin jumps tomorrow 20%, you're going to feel good. You made 20% on that one lot. But a well-seasoned auto trader has lots of inventory underwater. All this is gold. This over here, these open positions P&L, this is pure gold. That's a lot of inventory. So when a 20% move to me means I've got a lot of inventory that I'm going to sell off all at once and make a fortune, man. And watch, let's go down here to January 27th. Perfect day to talk about it. Alchemy Pay, ACH, the one that started at 12 cents and it was all the way down to 2.5 cents now. So on January 27th, 26th even, look at the price of ACH, 2.1 cents, right? On January 25th. Then
Wow.
it started moving. Boom. It started going up. And the auto trader started taking all this profit. On January 26th, look at all these closes. Look at this one buy in the middle of that. I love it because it wiggled. It went down while it was going straight up. It went a little down, and the auto trader said, "I'll take more of that, thank you." And then it sold it off the next day, right here.
Wow.
Actually, what did it do? 349. That's the buy. That's the quantity. So that's it. So it bought it
Hour and 20
January
minutes later, it sold
26th at 7:23. 1 hour later, 8:53, it sold it for $3,000. Thank you.
Wow.
What an insult to humanity this crypto market is. It's such a joke. It's all free money. And then that coin just kept going up. There's all January 27th. More screens full. Look at all these screens. The 28th, 29th, 30th, 31st. It kept going, and it went all the way to 5.6 cents. ACH went to 5.6 cents. Um,
And it can only do that for the fact that you had a bunch of inventory on the shelf.
right, absolutely. And
Yeah.
and it was all this, yes. And I had all that inventory. And then look what it did over the since then. It went back down all the way to 2.3 cents. I'm like, I'm okay with that. Because you know what the auto trader did? It bought more. Well, it reloaded again. So that's what I'm saying. You sell off all that inventory and then you buy it all back and then you sell it again. Everybody wants coins to go to new highs. I'm like, why? I mean, I love Alchemy Pay at 2 cents a share. I'll do this for the rest of my
Yep.
life. And I got them
Absolutely.
trapped in a box. So,
we, we may have
they,
to We may have to
Hey,
create a whole nother T-shirt for you,
I know.
called Mr. Wiggles.
Yeah, Mr. Wiggles. That's funny. But yeah, that's all the market is. It's just inventory. It's just buying and selling, buying and selling. That's what you want to do. That's, instead of just buying and sitting on it, like throwing silver dollars in a drawer. Talk about dead money, man. You're missing. You could trade SLV in the stock market and just take free money, thousands of trades a year, free money as it wiggles. Instead, that silver dollar sitting in a drawer is just dead money.
Hmm.
And then
Yeah.
what are you going to do with it? When do you sell it? It's
Well,
like,
Ed, hey Ed, let's explain something to people. When someone buys a license and they choose the coins, you've got a default button there that goes right to the three you've been using for all this time. However, if someone, like Edward mentioned earlier, if someone wants to go to the $1 billion report, maybe you can show that now, the highest trade counts.
mhm,
They could look at the history and make a decision. Okay, I like what
right,
this coin is averaging per month. Let me go with this one. That's what Edward did.
right. So what happened 3 years ago when I automated the market, Coinbase only had like 35 coins to trade. They didn't have 350.
That's
So,
crazy.
so I did a deep research on those 35. That's a joke. There was no
Deep
deep
research.
research. I went to the internet. I went to the internet and I searched for them and I went to their websites. I didn't do any deep. I don't even know what deep research is. Um, so anyways, I went and looked those up and I came away with Alchemy Pay. I said, wow, they're like Apple Pay worldwide, man. And they're only going for 12 cents a share. What a deal. They should be $20 a share. Multi-billion-dollar company like that. Then I found the Graph GRT. They write security software and wallet verification and address verification and when trades occur. I mean, they get 2 billion hits a day on their APIs. How do you get 2 billion hits a day? I write APIs. I don't get 2 billion hits. I think they're getting called, their APIs are being called every time a trade occurs anywhere in the world. That's the only answer I can come up with for 2 billion hits a day. And again, a 10-cent coin, instead of it's just crazy. They should be at least $20. And then Shiba Inu is the next one I came up with, a widely held coin. Almost every crypto trader, probably 90% of the people trading cryptos own SHIB. It's one of the most widely held coins. I mean, I started trading SHIB when it had 6 zeros after the decimal point. Now it has 4 zeros. So it's really come up a lot. And those were the three coins that I picked. But then how long ago did I create this $1 billion report?
7 months ago.
That's it. So I got this crazy idea. It's like, why don't I look and see if I play back the entire last year, how many trades would you have got if you traded each coin? And so I came up with this column right here, previous year's closed trades. I'm like, whoa, 1,900 trades, and all these top ones, Bonk, 1,446, Sui 1,423, Pepe 1,341. So I came up with this list here, and I compared that to let's look at the ones at the bottom of the report. I call these junk. I'm like 300 trades in a year compared to 1,400 or 2,000 trades. Even Bitcoin here on line 319, 284 trades in a year. So then I said, yeah, a month or two later, again, remember what I said about always improving things? I decided, I mean, so I said, well, I don't want to trade, I want to trade those coins at the top. However, this number could be skewed. What if there's a lot? What if they had big numbers? So I said, well, what's the monthly average of trades that they get? Okay, so that's easier to look at than just that. I can just look out on it right here. And I go, whoa, even though ASM, because I'm only looking at the last 8 months, 72 trades is the average on this one. So you can see how they jump around. So then after that, and a month later, because each month, this is a monthly report, I said, well, how many trades do they get each month? So then I expanded it out to this white section here. And I said, what is the worst month that they've had? This guy here, like 15 trades. I'm like, I don't like that. Even though he's the #1 coin, he still did only 15 trades there. I kind of don't like that, you know? And this one here did 12 trades. And even though that's #1 and #2. So then I said, well, what's the worst case scenario here? This one did 17 trades. And, then I go down to Bonk here, and I'm like, wait, his lowest month is 37. However, that month was slow for everybody. His next lowest was 48 trades, and then 57 trades. And then Suey, everybody loves Suey. This guy's lowest trades, where is it? 38 trades. And then the very next month, his next lowest was 80. It's like, you mean if I trade this coin, I can pretty much expect something like this? I like it. Because the name of the game is you want a lot of trades. When I'm talking trades, I'm talking about closed, profitable trades, man. This is gold. This
Yeah,
is
don't forget to mention that the system is programmed to never sell at a trade. It only
at a
buys
loss.
Loss. Never
inventory.
to sell at a loss.
Sell at a loss. I'm sorry. Sorry. Yes, let me say that out loud again. It's programmed to never sell at a loss. All it does is collect inventory and sell it at a profit. So you're running the 7-Eleven without the brick and mortar, without the employees, without the employee insurance, without having to worry whether they show up or not.
Oh,
And
I didn't
when
think
you
that
say
way.
profitable trades, let's pick one, Ed. Let's pick one that I've got in the account that I
Well, you're
should.
trading Pepe, aren't you?
Pick Pepe or Bonk. Bonk is
Here's
last
Bonk.
month. Well, this is a May report, so the last month reporting is April, and this is issued usually about the third or fourth day of every month.
Right.
Once the
Takes
month
a few
ends, then
days
it
to read.
compiles, right? But if you look at that, knowing now that it only sells at a profit, these are profitable trade counts. Bonk in April 78, and let's say it only made 3%. The AI will, in many cases, if you really pull these apart, you'll see that it has the opportunity. If the AI is called and it says, "Yep, don't sell it yet because it's going to go higher," but let's just assume it sold it at 3% profit, right? That's 78 times 3. If you own that coin in the month of April, your return was 234% profit on one coin in 1 month.
Yep. It's just free money, I'm telling you. It's not a joke. It's not a gimmick. It's just common sense. Trade the coins that move the most.
Yeah.
We don't
Yeah.
trade. GoBabyTrade clients don't trade this junk at the bottom. These coins here. I mean, all these coins here. Look at these numbers, how pathetic they are. 7 trades, 15 trades. What's interesting is, Bitcoin. It's moved down to line 319 from
Wow.
312. It was at 312 last month.
Well, it's a hell of a lot harder for Bitcoin to move 3% than it is a Pepe.
Well, if I'm investing $100 on Pepe and $100 on Bitcoin, I want to get those. You're investing the same amount on each coin, regardless of the price of the coin. And if one coin goes up 5% and the other one's only going up 1%, it's obvious you want the one that does 5. Or if one's only giving you, here it is, the best month all year that Bitcoin had was this month here, and it did 35 trades. Now let's shoot back up here and look at Bonk. Its worst month was 37 trades. So, I mean, Bonk's worst month beat Bitcoin's best month of the whole year. And,
That's interesting.
so you
Wow.
want to trade coins that turn inventory. So if I was just now starting, I would do what Edward did as far as the coins to trade. I would pick those coins, the top movers here.
Yeah.
Bonk, Sui, Pepe, Ando,
Yep.
Whiff.
Yeah.
Whiff
Yeah.
is
It
number
was
14. This is another fantastic coin. Like I said, this month right here was a slow month. This month. Um, but
yeah.
for all the coins for that matter.
Good news,
Yes.
Ed. We're almost 2 hours in. You've already got your jacket off. We come to your favorite part.
Yeah. Yes,
Q&A.
one of our friends in the chat said, "I love it when we get to the Q&A because Ed takes his jacket off." Well, you took it off way too early this time.
I was getting hot already.
It's getting hot in here.
That's
Yeah, I
Uh,
know. I need to turn the air conditioner on in this room.
Yeah,
so
isn't it interesting that that and I get these aha moments with being exposed to this and having the blessing of having it grow my legacy for my family in my sleep. But what I realized is it doesn't matter whether the market, you don't have to worry about what are the market conditions. Who cares? It doesn't matter whether it goes up or down. It's gonna go up or down.
It's
This
gonna
tool
wiggle.
this tool traps the market, traps the prices that it can't go anywhere. What do you say? You haven't used your toll booth analogy, right? You cannot go down my road without paying me.
That's right. The auto trader, if you want to look at this as toll booths, you put all the money in here and it only put a little bit here because that's where the price is. And so it built one toll booth. However, if the price starts going lower, the auto trader reserved enough money to build 25 toll booths on this road. So those of you who live in Florida, you know all about toll booths, right?
Mm-hmm. Or Jersey.
They got this road in Florida, man, where there's like every 5 minutes you're paying a toll. I'm like, what road am I on here? I got to a point where I quit paying them. I'm like, this is a rental car. I'm done. I'm done paying these stupid tolls. This is nuts.
all
So,
right.
anyways, so you got the name of the game here is don't let that price move without you getting money. And
Right.
don't let the big boys get rich without you getting rich. Nowadays, I feel like, hey, pay the toll, baby. You want to jump? Then pay me. You want that price to go up? Pay me. No
Hmm.
way. No more letting the big guys get money and we're not getting it. Look at this here. I have one thing here. That's Alchemy Pay, by the way, that I highlighted, ACH. That thing has been catching up. It's on line 16 now. That thing came from like line 50 a few years ago.
Wow.
And so even though even though the price is still down at 2 cents, the number of trades is what counts. See, turning inventory. You don't just because you want to make a lot of money in your 7-Eleven doesn't mean you jack up the price of potato chips to $50 a bag. Nobody's gonna buy it. You can sell, well, nowadays $5 bags of potato chips. $5 is quite a bit. That's a crazy number for a bag of potato chips. But you can sell a lot of those. You're never going to sell a $50 bag. So this whole idea that a lot of people have is I want more in, I want more in. They always say that. I want more money in. Especially on an up day. When the market's going up, we're having a beautiful up day and you're selling all this inventory off that you have. People will call me. I mean, I'll get calls from people, and they'll say, I want to be all in, Ed. And I'm like, you do realize everything you're selling on this beautiful up day was bought on down days. So if you want,
Good.
call me on
That
a
is
down
good.
day. I always say, call me on a down day and tell me you want to be all in. Nobody ever calls on a down day and says they want to be all in.
There you go.
And I'm
That's
like,
right.
it's too late to be all in on an up day
Yeah.
because you got to buy the inventory while it's down so when it goes up you're already profitable. And that's where everybody's making mistakes in the traditional world. They're sitting in front of 6 monitors, they don't own any shares, and what they're doing is they're looking for the market to be going up, and they see it going up. All right, the prices are going up, the coins are going higher, then they want to jump in. It's too late.
Yeah.
If you would have, they should have loaded up at the bottom, and then when you had that up day, you're already profitable. You're already taking all this profit. Just like here, like on these up days here, when you have an up day, you're just dumping all this off, all this inventory. You just start selling it.
Well, great explanation, Ed. Appreciate everything that you've said up to this point. I think it's now high
We have
time.
1 hour, folks. 1 hour to do Q&A.
So-
Um,
and if you can't stay, you'll get the recording.
yeah. So Ed, one of the questions that came in from someone that's got the trader already, they wanted you to cover the explanation of the default settings from 3% versus changing it down to 2%. What are the downsides to doing this? Can you go to the settings and explain that?
Okay. There's only one screen of settings right here.
Yeah.
And there's a video right above it. So you can watch that video. Any more questions? I'm kidding. So, but it does explain them. Enable AI is the first one. Enable or disable. AI cannot harm you in any way. There's no reason to ever disable it. As a matter of fact, I disabled the disable button. You can't disable it because AI can't hurt you in any way. It can only help. Um, if a coin is going higher and the software wants to take profit, it'll call the AI and say, do you think it's going to go higher? If AI doesn't report 95% confidence that it's going to go higher, then the software will take the profit right away. If the AI says, hold on, I'm 98% sure it's going to go higher in the next few minutes. And I always say the next few minutes because it can't predict more than like 20 to 30 minutes out. It really can't see further than that. So if it doesn't think it's going to go higher, then the software will take the profit. It's as simple as that. So, and the same way on the downside, if it's going down and the software says, I want to buy more, if the AI is not 95% confident that it's going to go lower, then the software will buy it. Otherwise, if it is 95% confident that it will go lower, that it is going to go lower, then the software will hold off. You can see the AI here. If you haven't, let me see if you can find one. Like here, this one here has an AI. All add to position rules pass, and it says AI got involved in that trade. Whereas the one right above it says all add to position rules pass, but it didn't put an AI after it. So that means that the AI didn't say it's going to go lower, so it went ahead and bought it. But this one said it's going to go lower. And so it waited before it bought it. So back to the rules. Max lots open in a single day. These three kind of go together. They're designed to slow the trader down. When I turned on the robotic trader for cryptos in 2018 or 21, excuse me, the first thing I said is, oh my God, I'm done with stocks. The next thing I said is, I got to slow this thing down, man. Cryptos weren't moving. I noticed cryptos don't move like stocks. They don't just graze up and go down and then sit there for 6 months. They're flying all over. They're jumping around even. I'm watching them literally jump. The prices are jumping. They're not just moving, they're jumping. So I said, let's slow this thing down. So max lots open in a single day says if the coin is just going down, say you're adding on the 3% drops. If it goes down 3% and the software buys it, and then it goes down 3% again and the software buys it again on the same day, then the software says stop buying after 2 buys. I don't want to buy any more until midnight tomorrow or tonight after midnight Eastern time. And because we're not going to just buy like crazy people, buy while it's going down. It might go down 19% in one day. And, so we don't want to just buy like crazy, like we're psychos. So, wait till midnight, and let it go down, let it breathe. The market is dying. Let the market breathe. Let it go where it wants to go and then jump in. There's no rush. Relax. And then I put these pauses, required minutes since last open in order to buy more, and required minutes since last close to buy more. So if it's going down and I buy, it's going to wait 60 minutes before it even thinks of buying again. Let that coin drop. I don't want to just buy 3% lower. I want the market, I want that coin to drop 10% more in that next hour. And it will. So that's the thing. So I put these pauses in there. I don't have those in the stock market. The stock market doesn't need it. Take this amount if reached. Because of the way the market jumps around, the default is $100. If you're up $100 on a position, just take it. That's what that is. Don't worry about the 3% rule, the profit goal of 3%. I mean, you're going to take 3% profits as it moves around, but if you're up $100, just take it.
Yep. Actually, Ed, let me interrupt you because this answers a question. Dan asks, hello, the default is $100, right? At what point of the size of your portfolio do you change this value? 100K, 500K,
I
right? So,
didn't. It wasn't based on the size. What told me to do it, I'm going down further.
yeah,
What
back
told
in your ACH, big ACH moves.
Yeah, what told me to raise it was, see, I already had it raised by then. Oh, here, I'll just search.
So is there any what are the downsides or potential risks by changing from default from I mean from $100 to say 500 or 1,000?
Nothing, nothing. Here's what happened here. I started getting a lot of these take this amount if reached. That's that $100. And so since I raised it to 1,000, I started hitting, I kept still hitting them.
Right.
See?
Then you
But if
raise it to 10,000.
so I got tired of hitting it too much because I realized I'm cutting off my profits.
Right.
Because the coin wants to go higher, but this one rule is slowing it down. So you can see here I had it set to 500 and I was hitting it a lot. So then I
Right.
raised it to 1,000 and then I started hitting it again and I said, you know what, enough is enough. Just set it to 10,000 because
Is
you
that
don't have to play it by ear.
so there's no downside, Dan. You can set it as high as you want, and then that way you're insured when as in my opinion,
Yeah.
not advice. In my opinion, we're soon to hit parabolic growth in some of these coins that have been, as Mr. Barsano said, manipulated and held down by the whales. And when it does that, if you leave it default to do $100, there's a chance you're gonna cut off some of your profits. So if you were to raise it, and I'm not suggesting universally that everybody do this, but it's something that you can play by ear and you can consider resetting that value so that you're not missing
Right.
the parabolic moves on the outside.
But you guys, it really comes down to how much money you're going to be trading with. If you have $1,000 or even a $10,000 account, you probably won't be hitting it.
Yeah.
And if you hit it once in a while, that's okay. But it's designed to be used. You want to hit it, but you don't want to be hitting it every day.
Right.
Yeah. Ed, we got another question. First of all, congratulations to Daniel also. Daniel also pulled the trigger on the trader today, along with Jose. And he says, I've selected my cryptos, but it hasn't opened any positions yet. This was like 30 minutes ago. So I believe what Daniel did is this. Instead of putting money into US dollars in his Coinbase or Kraken account or into USDC, he basically selected in the trader some coins he had sitting in his Coinbase already. That takes longer to open positions. That you said to
Takes
me
an hour,
that could
one
take an
hour.
hour, right?
Because what's happening is if you already own the position
Yeah.
that you told the auto trader to trade, it's got to reconcile with the broker.
Ah,
And the broker's saying you have these shares, and the auto trader's saying I don't have those shares. And now it's saying, nah, I gotta wait now because I don't know what's going on with the broker. He might clear those might disappear, or maybe that's a partial fill that put those in there. I gotta wait. So
mhm.
so it's a 1 hour pause before those come in. They will come in an hour.
Okay,
Mm.
cool.
Sometimes it's
Fantastic.
better to just, if you tell it the robotic trader to trade something, you're almost better just close the position and go to cash.
Yeah,
go to USD or USDC and let the auto trader start with the money.
I
Because
agree.
what it is here's another problem with that is you are what I call, you may be what I call, I didn't see, I started to say you are, but you may be top heavy. You bought too many, you put too many shares up here or too much, and then when it comes down here, the auto trader doesn't have any money to trade with because it uses USD or USDC to trade. And so even though you're in the position, you'll sell that position off if it goes up. And it's also going to use the current price as the entry price. It doesn't know what you really bought it at. So it's going to use the entry price of when it first comes into the auto trader. It's going to
Right.
say, all right, that's my buy price. If that goes up 3%, it'll sell it. So it's almost, why not just sell it and get it over with? Go to cash so that the auto trader can take that big bucket of coin you have and slice it up into the right lot sizes.
Which that touches on Jose's congratulations to his question. Does the trader pull it from cash or USDT on Coinbase? So
No
Jose,
T, no
right,
USDT. You might as well convert that to cash.
right, USDC, which is what we recommend, which is a
Right.
crypto token stable coin, or
Right.
USD. If you leave it in US dollars, and this is not advice, but if it's in US dollars and it trades in and out of US dollars, you might be causing yourself a tax implication. If it's USDC, then it's crypto to crypto, or at least how the regulations see it as digital assets now is it's property to property, which means you're not causing a taxable event.
Again, we're not giving financial or tax advice here, folks.
Right.
So make sure you
Right.
take that into consideration.
Yep. Not advice, just fact and education.
Yeah.
Please look it up
And if it
yourself.
hasn't, so Dan, if it hasn't loaded yet, you still have time in Coinbase. You could just dump those coins and then let the software use the cash, use the USDC to buy it back. It'll then the software will automatically buy it.
Or if you're heartbroken because you're way down on those positions, don't include those in the trader because it will pick them up and it will move them out and take that loss and then start trading versus putting new cash in and maybe diversifying, picking some of the other coins at the top of the highest trade count, and then that way you're not.
Dan,
Yeah, if you're in US, like we said, if you're trading the coins we talked about, the coins that Edward is trading, then those are the best movers.
Yep. And
um,
then Dan asked a question early on, actually probably before we touched on the subject. I know you guys are not investment advisors, but it would be great if you posted the top 10 suggested coins to pick from. Well, Dan, you see by now, just go to the report. Well, now you own the trader, I believe. But you can go to the highest trade count, give it 3 or 4 more days, and there's going to be a new one out, and then that will tell you right there what the top suggestions are, and that is the system suggesting it, not our advice.
Right. But Sui, Bank, Ando, ACH, Sui, Bank, Ando, ACH, and Pepe. There
Yep.
you go. Those five. We
my
recommend 5 coins because you don't want to spread your money too thin. At 5 coins, you're dividing up your money 20% per coin, 20, 40, 60, 80, 100. So you're dividing it up that way. You don't want to say the top 10 because then you're only putting 10% of your money per coin. So when a coin jumps, you're going to have a lot less coin. It's better to do no more than 5 coins is our recommendation based on history of what all the top traders have been doing. Trading 5 coins is better. I mean, there's somebody out there trading with 40 coins. He's trading 2% per coin. He's getting all these trades all day long, and by the end of the day, he made $1.50. I'm just saying, it's you
yeah,
spread your money too thin, and then when a coin jumps 100% or 200% in one day, and they do, and they will, you want to have a good number of inventory. You want to have a good amount of money invested in those coins when they jump.
Yep.
Here's a good question from Patrick. If you are employing an intelligent dollar cost averaging strategy to not
I'm not.
Crypto Casey is.
to not
Oh,
sell,
go ahead.
yeah, if you're employing an intelligent DCA strategy to not sell a currency, will the funds available to invest bucket eventually fill up to keep buying?
Well, that's the problem with when you think about dollar cost averaging. The purpose of dollar cost averaging is to lower your average buy price.
Right.
You average the ones you paid at the top with the ones you bought at the bottom, right? So when you add a coin, you want to add it down here at the bottom. That will lower your average cost. If you add to winners when it's going higher, you start buying more up here. There's a lot of problem with that. Number one, you're raising your average cost because you're paying more, not less. And the other thing is, where's the money coming from? You're just going to drain all your, if you're not selling, you're going to be all in. You're just going to be all in. All your money is going to just be all in. So the robotic trader does it properly, and it adds to the bottom when the price is going lower. And that's how you dollar cost average properly.
And
Yeah,
the
but
system,
when
as
you,
if you saw Crypto Casey's about a month ago, she talked about using her trader as a dollar cost averager because it buys smartly, not just throwing as Mr. Barsano said, $100 a month into it. It buys it smartly. So it's a
Right.
great way if you want to trade a bunch and then accumulate Bitcoin off of your free money over time, which means you have free Bitcoin. The trader does it smartly.
Right. Some
when,
people think dollar cost averaging is just throw $100 a month into the coin, regardless of where the price is, that kind of stuff.
Right.
It's doing
No.
it all wrong.
Yep.
okay, David asked if I'm trading live already, can I paper trade also? No,
No.
either or. Okay, so that's
Yep.
an easy answer.
Yep. And can I answer Sam?
Sure.
Sam's got a comment. I believe it's the same. Yes, it is the same, Sam. Do smaller meme coins, Bonk, Pepe, tend to pay better than bigger coins like Sui? Mm, I'll answer it this way, and you can interpret it by my answer. Bonk and Pepe, as you saw in the high trade account, and also the reason why I chose it is because those two are extraordinarily highly volatile. But the same argument as I used in the Bitcoin, right? Sui's like $3, $4, somewhere around there. You're going to be able over time buy a lot more inventory in a lot more volatility in things like Bonk and Pepe. Now, Bonk and Pepe, as you know, are literally meme coins. Sui's not a meme coin, but with Bonk and Pepe, they're 27 zeros before you get to a number. Obviously, that's exaggerating, but for it to move 3% or 4% or have the AI take advantage of whatever upside move, it barely has to sneeze. And you get trade after trade after trade after trade. If you look at the top four, right? Swift, SPA, NCT, top five, XYO, Bonk. Bonk doesn't even show a price because there's so many zeros. If you notice one thing in common, and you may not have picked up on this until now, they're all below 2 cents, and Bonk being way below 2 cents. Pepe doesn't even show up. But it doesn't take very much. If you're using this system, the only system of its kind that eats volatility, and those coins are volatile, you can buy a much bigger positions, and there's much more trades dollar wise. You may not make the $1 million a trade, but you're gonna over time, the more inventory that the system is gonna buy and hold or buy and have on the shelf. It doesn't take a lot of time for it to sneeze and go up one half of 1/10 of 1/10,000th of a penny for you to make a profit every day. Or
Right, 100% moves, are common with these lower price coins. And if you're investing the same amount of money in an expensive coin, I talked about this earlier. If I'm investing the same amount of money into an expensive coin and a lower price coin, this is the expensive one.
Right.
And the lower one. I was looking at myself. You don't look at yourself when you're doing this, folks. um, it if you're investing the same amount of money in it, not only am I going to get a lot more trade, I'm going to get this, more trades in. You see, it doesn't matter which coin you're trading, what the price of the coin is, but if you're investing the same amount in it and you're getting a 5% move, then you're still going to get a lot more 5% moves in the lower price coin.
Right. Right.
So I agree there. Sui is it's so consistent,
Well,
with its monthly number of trades.
let,
I mean,
let me
that's
let me
just
be
so
the
beautiful.
Edward, you brought up a really good point, but let me be the devil's advocate. I like to choose my coins sometimes based on the project itself, the project
Hmm.
being the coin, because SUI is a level one that now institutions are starting to pay a lot of attention to. It's going to be around for a long time. And I think SUI is going to be this bull run's version of what Solana was 3 years ago.
Agreed.
So, I look at the how good is the project? How long will it be around? Yeah, there's no question. Bonk and Pepe had just off the charts market caps, but they're still meme coins. And but they both have a lot of volatility. So that's just a different viewpoint.
Yep.
Yeah,
Agreed.
I personally only trade based on the numbers.
Yeah,
People keep telling me about Bonk and Pepe being meme coins, and I don't look at it.
yeah.
It's just
No, I
funny.
hear you. There's three different
I'm just looking at turning inventory for the rest of my life. As long as they stay in business
right.
and they don't go under.
Yeah, that's a very good point. I mean, there's two there. I talked, touched on volatility and I touched on risk and risk mitigation. There's only two ways that you can blow yourself up and not have this be successful for you. One is if the coin go or the coin, the company behind the coin goes out of business, which I've not seen, particularly when you're looking at this report. And the other way is for you to manually start manipulating the strategy or forcing it to buy or sell or buy more.
Oh, manual
Leave it
trades will kill you. Manual trading will kill you.
that
Because
so
some people, if you manually trade, even if you go to Coinbase and start manually trading other coins, you're using the money that this software thought it had allocated for it.
right.
So,
Because anything you
take
buy,
away all the money that the software thought it had to use, and
right.
yeah.
Yeah, don't do it. If you're gonna jump in smartly, use this tool for what it's made for, follow the rules, don't touch the strategy. You saw the example that I showed you. You've seen Ed's example since he launched the software. It's literally a no-brainer if you don't touch it. Sam
Look
also
at
says,
SPA. Look at
pardon me?
number 2 on the list, SPA. Look at these
Ah,
numbers.
yep, yep.
SPA.
That's been that was up there when I started the simulation of the four that I picked. But I think anything in the top 10 is, well, you saw the results, right? Of running at 150% plus. When I say
Yeah,
triple digits, there's your triple digits. Sam
that's right.
says is one of the reasons why the subscription is 3 years is because the bot may have 10 months of near zero gain and a month of 100% gain. I think
No,
you, Ed, said there was in February that it created 100% gain or that it achieved 100% gain.
last February, 1 year ago, these
Right.
coins went up. I mean, the entire accounts doubled in value.
Yep.
So there's
But
no telling what they'll do. However, the reason for the 3 years is I don't want to be in the collections business. People who own an auto trader, you pay one time and you own it for 3 years, you're done. You don't have to worry about, monthly credit cards expiring and all that. Once you own the auto trader, you're going to see the power of it, and everyone who owns it is happy they paid one time and they're done. You don't have
right.
to pay anymore, and you own the software for 3 years. I mean, I've had people asking me, can I give you a 10 years, can I just pay you for a 10-year, I mean, once you have it, you're just done, and you're not even paying much. And one of the common questions is, how long will it take it to pay it off? I don't know. I
Yeah,
mean, I know people have, come in with a good amount of money and they pay it off in that 3,500 in one day. I mean, it's all over
Well,
the place.
it's like what I said in the beginning. It's market dependent, but in this case, the answer to that question is it's market dependent, and it also depends on how much money you start with and how much money you're trading with. If
right.
you're only trading with $5,000 versus 50,000, you'll pay it off a lot sooner at 50, believe me. Okay.
Right. And the other thing is, we're at war with the market. The market is going lower. That's what this is. And we keep taking profits. And you see, we keep taking profits. These profits are going to keep adding up forever. This number can only get bigger. The only way this can get smaller is to lower that price of that coin and keep lowering it and lowering it and lowering it. And don't wiggle. Just go down, 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 down. And we have to win in the long run. As
Yeah.
long as these coins stay in business, we're guaranteed to win because you're gonna take profits for life. And once you run this thing and you figure that out, you're gonna realize. I mean, I can tell you because again, I talk to a lot of people. I see what everybody's doing. I don't look at what everybody's doing, but I look at your trader if you want to share it with me. And I can tell you all money from other projects is flowing in. When I say projects, I'm thinking about other things in your life flows into GoBabyTrade. I mean, we didn't talk about the highest trade report. I mean, the numbers are off the map. And Edward, remember I told you I filtered these kind of numbers out, the bigger numbers, the bigger percent?
Yes, yes.
You saw me. I delivered for 3 years. I filtered these out. I said, let's get rid of these big numbers. People aren't going to believe it. And you're the one that told me, you said, next month, just let the numbers in. And you know what? I still didn't let the numbers in because there are people with numbers way greater than that. And I'm like, stop. I can't. I'm not going to put those up.
Well,
You'll
and
see close to me.
that's brilliant to see. But when I talk about this and say triple digit returns, people have to go, God, that's not possible. That's not possible. But I mean, now when I say triple digits, I'm not saying
I
100%.
used to lop it off. I
Right?
used to lop off the traders that did more than 100% return. And
Yeah.
then you said last month, just let them in. And I'm like, you know what? It's not. People are going to think that it's not real.
Well,
You know.
but
So
people, anybody that's heard this message today for the first time has got to be going, this can't be. It doesn't exist anywhere. If it existed, there would be no crypto
there'd
market.
be no market. That's the
Right? There'd be no
thing. But
market.
it's real. We're not doing anything. We are literally not even. We're not forecasting or anything. We're just doing
But
proper money management.
let our
And
biggest testimonial be the facts. That's it. So I'm thrilled that you're showing this report. And if people have been paying attention to the chat, I have for the most part. But I would ask if anybody that's on here that owns the trader, do me a favor. I'm going to ask you one question and put it in the chat. Are you happy? Yes. Are you not? No. Put it in the chat.
Yeah, and I like to talk about it. We always talk about all this good stuff and all, but I really would like to hear some of the negative stuff, if is any. The biggest negative thing I can hear is every day people, not every day, but I'm just saying the kind of things people don't understand is the market's going down, and they keep like right now. Look at this down day, down day, down
Yep.
day. It's a down day. The coins are going lower. I will actually get people in email to ask me how come my auto trader's not taking profits today, and I'm like,
Yeah.
because it's going down, not up.
Yep. Here's your
You
feedback.
know.
Here's your feedback. Thank you to Rob, Dan, Natalie, Walter, that thank you so much for sharing. Rob says 10,000% thrilled that. Oh, we keep getting more. Russ, thank you. Everybody says, Dan, super happy, a game changer. Natalie says, yes, it's Golden Goose. The cut just keeps laying. Walter had the trader for 2 months, very happy. Rob, cha-ching. Russ, I'm not paying these people. I'm not paying these people. So Ed says, I think a big negative is some people don't get off their rear no matter what. So
I don't know what that is.
Who, and I didn't know. Thank you so much for sharing the good news. But I called for good news. Who's happy and who's not happy? We got no not happies. So, and I know that's a small sampling.
And we are at war.
Right.
Literally, the auto trader is at war with the market, with the exchanges, with the people who are really moving these prices. All right, and it's not you and I. I mean, they had the crypto summit at the White House a few months ago. Some of you may have watched that. I definitely did. Man, I was all over that. And the room was full of multi-millionaires, people sitting on millions of dollars worth of cryptos. All those guys, including Trump, they're sitting on millions. And one of those guys, he hit it right on the head. He said, we are going to remove all the regulations that have been holding this market down.
Mm-hmm.
And I mean, and they're going to do it. I mean, they're going to, and then what do you think happened after that happened? As soon as they announced that, for the next 2 months, the market went down.
Why?
Why? So the wealthy can load up at the bottom. And what do you think Joe Public's doing? Panicking and selling out. So the guy, us with an auto trader, we just keep taking profits. You want to go lower? Be my guest. I love you down here. I'm going to really love you when this market turns into an uptrend. And then we're all in uncharted water. I'll be honest. I have not seen an uptrend yet. In 3 years, we've been going straight down.
Well, here's the trivia question today. Do you know what's happening right now? Right now, as we speak.
The Bitcoin conferences or
Bitcoin 2025. Pay attention to June 6th. Ed, you were talking about the crypto council. Pay attention to June 6th. I won't say any more, just pay attention to June 6th.
All right. Let's finish up the questions, guys. We've got Dan.
We have lots of time. Come on. Let's
no. I've got some closing remarks.
Well, let me just bang through the rest of these indicators here real fast, okay? Just so everybody knows. In the stock market, when a coin or a stock reaches a profit goal, you generally wait for pullback after reaching gold. Somebody might put like a quarter or 5%, or not 5%, like a 1/4% here on this one. Once you reach the 3% goal, you wait for a small pullback. So it's kind of like let it run. We don't need that in GoBabyTrade because we have AI. If AI says it's not going to go higher, then just take your profit. You don't have to wait for it to go down. Because the danger of waiting for a crypto to go the wrong way, it'll wipe out all your profit in a minute. That 3% up can also go down 3% like that.
Right.
So I'm going to get rid of, I'm thinking of getting rid of this rule altogether. People who are using it don't use it right. Sometimes I'll see somebody put in here, like the profit goal is 3%, and they'll put 10% in the pullback. And I'm like, well, you're just going to lose all your profit if you wait for it to pull back 10%. So the people aren't using it properly. So I'm going to get rid of it.
So Ed, good.
Keep going.
Yeah, keep going.
Do not close lots, it will be immediately reopened. The software is smart enough to look ahead and say, if I close this, is it just going to buy right back? And if it is, then don't close it. So it's smart enough to look ahead. The next one, the software is calculating the shares that it's going to buy. This is where it's doing the math. Where it's deciding, am I going to trade in equal funds and equal shares? Now, those of you who asked the question, tell me something negative. I'll tell you something that was negative that was cleaned up. There was a third option in here, right above those two, and it said, what lot size do you want to trade in? What dollar value? Well, people would put like, I want to trade in $5,000 lot sizes. That means every time it buys, buy $5,000 worth of that coin. Well, if you're trading with $10,000 in your account and you have 3 coins, it's going to buy $5,000 worth of one coin, $5,000 worth of the second coin, and now you've used up your 10,000. You're no longer trading anymore, and you become just a buy and holder because you're all in. And then when it goes down, you're not making any money on the wiggles at all. So I got rid of that rule because people weren't. Let the software do the math. The software will calculate the right number of shares to buy at the right time. The next two, there's only two here. Add shares on price drops. 3% drops is the default. That's a good number in this market. It was 2% for a few years. Remember when the market was going straight down. But when the market started hovering, started making some good moves on November 4th, I believe, day before the election. I announced to everybody I'm changing my rules. I'm changing the default in here to 3, from 2 to 3, because we're starting to get bigger moves. And then I even put at the bottom of the email, if you want me to change yours, for you, because you could just go here and change it yourself. If you want me to do it for you, I'll do it. And like 600 people said, yeah, do it for me. It was easy for me because I can just go to the database and say, change all these to 3% all at once, like that. And then the last one is the most critical one, actually, sitting here innocuously at the bottom. Maximum number of lots to continue trading. Your default strategy is saying, I want 25 lots. 3 times 25 gives you a 75% trading window. The trading window is the most important, because a 75% trading window from where you go in initially all the way down to a 75% drop in price. That means you can trade within that 75% window in perpetuity. You don't even care where the prices go. Hey, baby, free money for life. And it's just no baloney. You can see it. I like to talk logically. If anybody doesn't understand this, speak up, please. Because if you understand it, then you understand the trader. You're just going to take free money no matter where the price goes. Now, if it drops below 75%, now all your money's allocated. All the people up here that said, I want all my money allocated? Well, if it drops 75%, your money will be all allocated, right? Except for all those profits you've been making that I've been talking about, right? You still have those sitting on the sideline. So then I say, okay, well, raise this at that time to 30. Changes your trading window to 90% trading window. That means the coin's literally almost got to go out of business. And then all you have to do over here is go back to your managed profits, your profits saved. And you could say, release 50,000 of that. Boom. I just released 50,000 to the auto trader. So the auto trader can use that 50,000. And excuse me while I put that back. You can also put it back. You put a minus or you can put a plus. And I put it back. So remember, all your profits are still sitting in Coinbase. They're not in GoBabyTrade. That's just a number. This is just a number telling the auto trader not to use that amount of your money. So when the software is doing the math to decide how many shares it's going to buy, it knows to remove that amount from your cash, from your USDC, so it doesn't use it. And that's it. That's all the rules. I went from 10 screens of ways to blow yourself up to 1 screen of settings. And this one just chases money. We don't chase indicators. The AI, the 27 indicators in the AI handle the indicators. The auto trader just chases money directly. Go ahead, Edward. I'm done.
Okay. I'll ask one
Take a
here.
breath.
I see Ed's coins are ACH, Doge, GRT, and cheap. This is Dan asking this. Why won't Ed change his coins?
Good. Why won't I?
Yeah,
Because let's go back. Because I'm sitting all this negative inventory.
right.
I don't want to close that. And
This,
you can see I'm taking profits. I'm taking it like crazy. And I'm well seasoned. My auto trader's well seasoned. See, I've already got 29 lots of
but
sheep,
every, but
41 lots of GRT.
yeah,
That means I've got so much inventory that anytime that coin ever makes a 10% move or something, boom, I make all that profit. Remember, Dan, what I said in the beginning. You signed up today, you got one lot. If the coin jumps 30%, yeah, you're going to make 30% on that one lot. You know how many of these I'm going to sell at one time? I'm going to make a fortune, baby. So getting well
yeah,
seasoned is an important thing, and I've been trading these coins for years. So I'm not in a hurry to change, even though new people coming on board, absolutely. I say go for the new stuff. Yes, because you're gonna, I think those are way better.
yeah. But this is a good justification for why you want to pick the right coins from the start and stick with them. Because look at your trader now. You could certainly manually close out ACH, but you'd have
I don't do any manual closes
no.
ever. There is
But if
no
you,
manual closes in this system. I never sell something at a loss.
of,
Never.
of course you don't. But what I'm telling everyone is if Ed did close out that ACH position, there's $63,000 that would go poof. You want that? You really want that?
Well,
Why?
not only that, but I would free up $108,000.
Yeah,
That's real money. I could free that up and
yeah,
put it into another coin. I agree with that. So
yeah.
that is, that's a challenge. That is some of the stuff that we're all bantering with that, Dan. You didn't just come up with that. We all are wondering, I got all this money tied up, the market value. This is how much each of these coins is worth. How much, man, do I release it and go into another coin? Jumping around coins is not a good idea.
No, no, not at all. Okay, good. Edward, you want to finish it up?
Yes, Ted says, can we have Ed do an audit on our GBT account? I'm not sure what you'd want audited. Oh, wait a minute. Maybe Ted, maybe, and put in the chat if I'm right about this assumption of your question. Are you asking for a potential review, not an audit, but a review of your account to optimize it? That may be your
If you
question.
think something
Oh,
might be
okay. Yep.
wrong, you want me to take a
He,
look? I don't
he
mind
just
doing that.
he just said yes. So here you have the opportunity to email Bill Gates, I mean Ed Barsano directly and ask to set an appointment. That would be at and let me post it again while I'm saying it, so you don't have to go look for it. I'm going to post the emails again for support. But your particular question, Ted, thanks for the quick response. Send an email to support at GoBabyTrade and ask for an appointment with Ed,
Whoever.
one of his teams or one of his team members, and they'll review it. That's the personalized service. That's what we want to provide for this community, right? So
Right. TD Ameritrade said to me all the way back in 2006, he said, you have an advantage that I have an advantage over them. And he said the reason is they're too big. They can't help people. They can't give any kind of personalized service. They have millions of clients. Whereas here I am with thousands of clients, and we can give better service. And we do. We give premium support. But when you send the email to support, it could take me a week. I don't know, because there's a lot of people like that, premium support, and I like to help. And I want to help you, definitely. Don't panic and start selling things at a loss. Just relax a little, because it's the market jerking with you. It's the market pushing things down while we are at war, because we keep taking profits. And we're going to win in the long run for sure, because they can only push these coins down so much.
Yep.
And every time you have down days like this, remember what I said. It's okay. Down is good. Down means, here, I just bought another one, ACH. It just, at 403 while we were talking. So down is good, It goes lower. We got to have down days in order to have inventory to sell on up days.
Yep.
Right.
It's just common sense. See,
Yeah.
that's why you don't see all selling. You have to have days where you're buying. You have to have buy days, and
Yep.
sometimes you might go 4 down days in a row. I love that, of course. If the market goes down 3 days, I say I dare you to give me a fourth day. I don't care. And if it goes down 4 days, I'm like, I'd triple dare you to go down a fifth day. Go ahead. Because I'm just buying more at the lowest price. Someone called me a few weeks ago and said, Ed, the market's been going down so much. Should I pause my auto trader? Because you got that halt trader on the lower left, halt trading. And he said, should I halt trading for a few days? I'm like, no. The biggest money you're going to make is the stuff from the stuff you bought at the bottom. You don't want to stop it from buying at the bottom. That's where you want to buy.
Yeah.
If you have a
So,
chance to buy, I mean, I don't trade silver dollars, but if I had a chance to buy silver dollars at a low price, that's what I want. I don't want to buy them at a higher price. This is just common sense stuff, and I don't understand why the common sense goes away when it
Because
comes.
you're programmed not to think common sense.
That's scary.
So here's an interesting comment, not a question, or maybe it's a question. Actually, it ends in a question mark. Francisco says perhaps also a discount for GBT, crypto, and stocks. I think that he may
No, we
be
don't have that.
well, the if they want to buy the stock, auto stock trader, would the discount apply or no?
Yeah,
oh
yeah, the
yeah.
same discount, the $1,000 off the website price would
Okay,
apply.
good.
Yeah. It's
Oh,
the
yes.
yeah, as long as they're doing it from Crypto Casey's link.
But the
Absolutely.
number of users, the number of clients that sign up, I mean, I have a real lot of stock traders, okay? Because I had stock traders since, all the way since about 2002 when I released the first auto trader. And I mean, I've had traders for years, man. And, stock traders, so many, and they never, I mean, we started trading Microsoft at $30 and it's sitting up at 400. I mean, everybody loves me. Never mind, I don't want to say it, but they're just cleaning up like crazy. So, when I went to cryptos, I had to start from ground zero, the number of clients. But the number of people coming on in the crypto space is, it's 90 to 1.
Yeah.
Mhm.
It's pretty
90
incredible.
signups, 90 crypto traders to 1 stock trader.
Wow.
So cryptos move just so much more,
Yep.
and I
But for
can't
those that
justify it.
have been
People
in the
ask.
stock market for years and realize that this technology advances their buy and hold positions, particularly if they're in profitable positions in the stock market, this is also a consideration for them to be able to auto trade stocks particularly if they've been trading them or buying and selling them or buying
Yeah.
and holding them for 20 years. This is
Well,
simply
yeah, it's a no-brainer, I mean, the we're just people do ask about the stock market and they say, "Oh, can I get the same kind of returns and all?" The stock trader runs exactly the same way as the crypto trader. And I just tell them, "Hey, I'm not a salesman. I'm not trying to sell you something. Personally, I wouldn't do it. I'm not I love cryptos. I'm not, but there's a lot of people that really are entrenched in stocks and they love stocks and they know what stocks to trade, and there's only I see the stocks people are trading, and they know what they're doing, and they're cleaning up. They are doing well. But what scares me is that Dow is way up there, man. When it broke through 10,000, I start getting scared. And now what is it at? 40,000 or something?
Mhm.
Man, that's got disaster written all over it. I don't know.
Yeah.
I love cryptos, man. I'd rather be buying cryptos all the way at these prices than these prices.
Well, guys,
No,
we
wait a minute. We still have 9 more minutes.
yeah, I know. We got 9 more. That's why I'm wrapping it up because Edward's still not done talking. So,
Take your time.
Edward, you want to
Yes.
wrap up and then turn it back over to me?
Sure, sure, sure. So, do you want me to
And I do have some final words too, by the way,
we'll
just in
we'll
case.
we'll let you speak. This is your show. We get a lot of questions about how much money, if I'm just starting out, how much money do I put in? Well, that's all a personal preference, but there is an example that I've created. Do you want me to show that?
Yeah, why don't
Okay.
you pull it up? It's a obviously there's no guarantees, but it's a really good track to run on.
Okay. I got to kick you off, Ed. Sorry about that.
Oh yeah, I'm
Okay.
sorry. Yeah.
Yep. No worries. No worries. Let me go back to my expectation sheet. Okay. Switching gears here
Whoa,
for a
you really did
second.
kick me off.
I did kick you off. Yeah, yeah. Sorry about that. So, all right. So there's a big window again. That's for the hard of hearing. Apparently, I didn't mean for it to get that big. So this is just an example. We talked about this is a life trader. I think if you get in and if I said to you,
Wait a minute,
yep,
I'm not seeing your screen. Oh, wait a minute. All right, all right. All right, I see it now. I had to
okay,
stop sharing.
all right, yep. Sorry about that. I kicked you off so that nobody else could see your screen, but you did have to say stop sharing. So, so this is a life example of how much, and this is starting with $5,000. But if I said just overall, don't read the screen for a second. If I said, give me $1 and I'll give you three, guaranteed. How many dollars would you give me? All of them, right?
Personally, yeah,
Right.
millions.
Right. Here, so here's an example, and this is based on half of. You notice I've got up here half of the numbers that we. Whoops. Did it just go blank?
Yep.
Yes.
Okay. I don't know what happened. I think it's because I had enlarged the screen, so we'll keep it this
Oh, I
size.
thought you robbed our money there for a minute.
Ah, no, one button gone. Nope. Nope. So I did this as example at 50%, just 50%. You've seen the returns, the real returns, the simulated returns, but just look at this very conservatively. 5,000, excuse me, at the end of the 3-year license nets you. This is after your cost. This is after your initial investment. So you still got your 5 grand on top of that. But your net profits, or as I like to refer to it, your opportunity cost not taken or not achieved by not using this tool. And if you're making that, are you gonna go 6 years? Are you not gonna buy another license? Right. So now you've invested almost $7,000, but now your net opportunity missed, if you didn't, is 45,000. Right. And 9 years from now, geez, if somebody told me 10 years ago, I'll put you on a plan that skyrockets what you're going to do, your savings. Am I going to buy a bond? Am I going to buy a stock? Am I going to put money in the bank? Probably not. But if somebody gave me this blessing 10 years ago or 9 years ago, right? You're into another license. So you've got 10-5 invested, but your opportunity lost if you don't buy it, if you didn't take advantage of it, is $176,000. That's like paying your house off in 10 years and growing. And if you continue to elaborate, what's 12, what's 15, what's 18 look like? So my point being, for half the cost of a cup of Starbucks coffee or Tim Hortons coffee, somebody actually commented because they're in Canada, a half a cup, changing your habits to divert something to make a smart decision that again 100% secure. Nobody has access to it. Nobody touches. You're welcome to come on every week. We do this every single week. Sometimes we get the delight of Crypto Casey popping in, but we're here to provide you something that benefits you. And I'm not taking any credit because the gentleman that you've heard from today, the creator of this, gets all the credit, right? Unattended, completely unattended. You don't have to. You can watch it. You can think you're pushing buttons. You can get the little blister on the finger like I did from logging into my account to see how much money I made today. But that's it. To have a chance to improve the trajectory of the legacy of your family, let me speak to you personally for a second. Let me say this. There's no exchange out there. There's not a Coinbase or a Kraken or a PooCoin or whatever, but whatever the exchange is, the exchanges don't have the opportunity to have the tool, this tool, because it's not at an institutional level. This is something that Mr. Barsano has blessed us as individuals, myself and Attila, to be able to share this message with people. Yeah, how good this feels to show somebody true fact. Let you make your own decision. But if you decide to, what is it done? The only way it doesn't work is if the world comes to an end, which I'm not saying that's completely out of the question. But in all optimism, this is an opportunity. Ed,
Yes.
I spent the last 40 years, 32 getting shot at, right? It's realizing what the inside of the matrix is, which it's programmed to keep you JOB, just over broke, right? There's a whole bunch I can share, but that's part of my superpowers because I understand the mentality of the system that wants to keep you bound and controlled. You have pulled those bindings off to allow people. I won't talk to everyone. I'm just going to tell you what it's done for me. What have you done? It's not about the money, but what you've done for me is you've bought back the most precious resource. Now that I have a 10-year-old, I've got two olders, but what have you bought for me? You bought back all my time.
Yep.
You bought back the time that allows me to invest it in my child. So
Don't cry
emotional
now,
about it,
Edward.
but that's what you've done for me. This is all for people's information only. They can choose to do, to not to do, but you've touched my family and touched my legacy that I'm creating for my family in a very, very personal way. And I hope people take that sincerely, and I hope that they look upon it as a bright light potentially to their future. So there's my 2 cents. There's my comments out. I'm so appreciative to everybody that joins us on these weekly calls, to the magic of the people that are brand new to this every week that get a chance to see it. Yes, scratch your head. It doesn't sound real, but it's 1,000% real. With that,
Ed, final
Thank you,
comments from
Edward.
you, Ed?
Me?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
the other half of the Ed and Eddie show.
When I set out to automate the market, I didn't say I don't know if I mentioned this. I didn't say I'm gonna conquer the market. I said we're gonna conquer the market. And so I've worked with all those presenting all over the country, plus Australia I presented, plus Canada multiple times. And I can tell you, I am just killing one more minute here and we will hit 3 hours.
You were just trying to get to that 3 hour mark.
All right. No, but yeah, in a way, but you already did that. Thank you. And I appreciate everything you said there with sincerity.
It's very heartfelt.
We, I hear it a lot that Ed, you saved my retirement kind of thing. I see people living off their earnings monthly, literally taking their profits every month and living off of it. Adding it to the little bit more, maybe their social security that they get.
Talk
And
about freedom. That's true
yeah.
freedom.
So I'm just saying I didn't set out to do this myself, and I probably couldn't have done it myself. It was the feedback, the constant feedback, and working with individuals. And some of you already know it. I've talked to many of you multiple times on the phone, and you drive me nuts, but I still do it.
You love
Natalie.
it.
I'm kidding. But one thing, I'm not a marketer, all right? Everybody knows that. I used to tell people I could not sell candy in 6th grade going door to door. I really couldn't do it. I don't know how to market. I don't know how to sell. So I appreciate anyone that helps, Crypto Casey, Attila, Edward, I appreciate you guys immensely. But one of the things I want to say to individuals out there that, I'm not a salesman, but I have to say this. Every day that you don't have an auto trader is a day your auto trader's just not making money. Because it doesn't care whether you start now or you start 6 months from now. But every day that it's not running is another day you're not making money. Because I've had people, I'm telling you, I talk to people like we're friends for 6 months and they haven't signed up even yet. Because I love to talk about the border and vaccines and all that stuff too. So and then they finally sign. I remember a guy signing up, and 6 months later, and he goes, "I wish I would have done this 6 months ago." Yes, and it's not just about the money you're not making each day, but by delaying, what you're delaying is the seasoning of the auto trader. You're not building inventory. And the sooner you get started, the sooner the auto trader starts building inventory. You want down days. I mean, I love up days too. We always I want to sell, but I know the power of building that inventory because that's where the big money comes from. So that's just all I wanted to say. You can delay, take your time. I'm not a force. I don't know. I'm not a hardcore salesman. I'm just letting you know. The sooner you get started, the sooner the auto trader can get started.
Yeah, amen to
That's
that.
all I
Thanks.
had to say.
Great
And
feedback.
and we really can't stay here all day, Attila. So try to keep it short. All right. We've hit 3 hours. 3 hours and 2 minutes. I got things to do.
I can't keep you away from your wife that long yet, so I'll let you go. But
Too funny.
no, to everybody that joined us again today, thank you for joining. We'll be here again next week on Wednesday. I don't know what day that is, but it's June
The
already.
4th.
It's June 4th already. Holy cow. So if you have any questions, you have our emails, you have support at GoBaby, you have support at RCT Marketing, you have Crypto Casey's link. If you're ready to save $1,000 and pull the trigger on the trader, go ahead. We're here to help you go live or answer any questions. So with that, appreciate your patience. And for those of you that have stuck it out for this long, thank you. And all I could say is go forth and multiply your crypto within the trader. So we'll see you next time. Thank you.
Yep. Francisco says thanks for the discount on the stock trader. You're welcome. I mean, you're welcome. It's Ed. And we've got positive comments from Freddie. The 10-minute goodbye. I love this.
I love that.
Thanks, guys. This hour flew by, and Ed gave all the technical details. So we love you guys. We appreciate you. Thank you for joining us, and see you next week if you'd like. And if you have questions, we're all here.
Absolutely.
So thanks, everybody.
Next week, marital advice.
Marital. Well, it sounds like you're a psychologist. So by all means, we'll do the 4th hour on your marital advice.
Not. Okay. Bye-bye.
All right.
Thank you,
God
everybody.
bless you guys. Thank you. Thanks, everybody.
Thank you. Bye.